Chapter 2872. Suddenly, the dozen or so warriors who were rushing towards Ling Xiao froze. It was as if they were bound by something, unable to move. Their entire bodies seemed to be paralyzed. At this time, Ling Xiao slowly walked towards them with an indifferent expression on his face. "Oh no, this guy is too strong. His energy can actually bind our movements. This guy is at least a martial artist at the late stage of the first transformation of the 12th level of hell." Finally, someone who understood the situation appeared. One of the warriors who was bound had once heard his master say that if one wanted to use energy to bind the opponent's movements, in terms of internal strength, one had to be at least 2 small realms stronger than the opponent. They were all martial artists at the early stage of the 12th level of hell. Then, wouldn't Ling Xiao's cultivation be at least at the late stage of the 12th level of hell? How could they afford to offend such a person? Hearing this person's words, everyone was stunned. Yuan Mo even forgot the bursts of pain coming from his body. Ling Xiao was actually a powerhouse at the late stage of the first transformation of the 12th level of hell. He was clearly so young. He was actually stupid enough to make an enemy of such a person. No wonder Wu Pa died. No wonder he was easily defeated by the other party. Regret, endless regret, flooded him like a tidal wave. He suddenly thought of what his daughter, Leah, had once said. Leah had said that Ling Xiao was here to help the Yuanling, to protect their tribe from being harassed and bullied by the Qin Kingdom's royal family. But what did he do? Because he was afraid of the Qin Kingdom's eldest prince, he actually put Ling Xiao under house arrest and begged for mercy from the Qin Kingdom's eldest prince. He did all kinds of shameless things. However, in the end, he suddenly realized that the eldest prince, whom he was afraid of, was nothing in front of this young man. Originally, this powerful warrior could have become their tribe's most powerful guardian. But he had done so many stupid things. He was afraid of an ant, and in order to beg for mercy from the ant, he attacked a powerhouse. The more he thought about it, the more ridiculous he felt. It was also lamentable. The eldest prince also looked at Ling Xiao in horror. At this time, his only thought was to escape. However, Ling Xiao's aura had already enveloped the entire area. It was impossible for him to escape. He could even feel that if he were to escape, there would only be one outcome, a tragic death. "First Prince, don't worry. With us here, we will definitely ensure His Highness' safety." The 2 warriors beside the First Prince, who had the same cultivation as Ling Xiao, comforted the First Prince. However, even they were able to sense that Ling Xiao's aura was so terrifying that it could completely suppress the 2 of them. With the same cultivation, how could there be such a huge gap? "Did you just say you were going to kill me?" Ling Xiao finally walked to the front of the Qin Kingdom cultivator and asked with a faint smile on his face. That person's body trembled nonstop, as if he was shivering in the cold wind. He looked at Ling Xiao in horror and shouted, "I beg you, please spare me. I'm just following orders." "Acting on orders? I clearly saw that you were the first to rush out just now. Your First Prince didn't seem to mention your name." Ling Xiao stretched out his hand. His slender and straight fingers approached the warrior's forehead. The warrior was so scared that he lost control of his bladder. He clearly remembered the scene when Ling Xiao killed Wu Pa. He didn't want to die like that. He didn't want to die like that. Die. A cold voice came out of Ling Xiao's mouth. A terrifying force immediately burst out from his fingers. That warrior was bounced out like a rubber ball. He crashed into 7 or 8 people in a row. And these 7 or 8 warriors all died tragically on the spot. Ling Xiao never showed mercy to his enemies. It was so in the past. It was so now. It would be so in the future. He would never show any mercy to those who wanted to kill him. Lava storm. Destroy. Killing them one by one was too boring. Ling Xiao raised his hand. A crazy heat was brewing in his hand. It seemed to have turned into a small volcano. Then, a terrifying storm erupted. The boiling lava was like a terrifying gale that swept towards that group of warriors. Shrill screams began to rise and fall. Previously, they looked down on Ling Xiao and looked down on Ling Xiao. They wanted to kill Ling Xiao. Now, all that was left were their screams and begging for mercy. Those who kill will be killed by others. Ling Xiao looked coldly at the boiling lava roaring there. His expression didn't change at all. The first prince, who was protected by 2 Yin-Yang realm cultivators at the late stage of the 12th level of hell, escaped this calamity. They floated in the air, trying to escape. However, no matter which direction they went, Ling Xiao would always appear in front of them. The first prince looked at Ling Xiao in horror. The youth in front of him was no longer a human. He was a ferocious beast, a malefic star, a demon king. He killed people like flies and would never show mercy. The people of Yuanling didn't know how to express their emotions when they saw this horrifying scene. They could only kneel there in horror and pray that Ling Xiao would not attack them after killing the first prince and his men. Otherwise, they would not be able to fight against such a powerful existence. There would only be one ending for them, and that was death. Undoubtedly death. First prince, don't be afraid. We will protect. Before the 2 warriors at the late stage of the 12th level of hell could finish their words, their throats were pierced by 2 rays of cold light from Ling Xiao's fingers. They fell into the boiling lava. Their corpses were instantly reduced to ashes. Protect? Can you protect him? Ling Xiao looked disdainfully in the direction where the 2 fell, then looked at the first prince. Do you still want to kill me now? He asked mockingly. No, no. The first prince shook his head like a rattle drum. Kill Ling Xiao? Don't joke around. This fiend only used one move to kill almost all the warriors who followed him. Not to mention those useless people, he was actually able to instantly kill 2 warriors at the late stage of the 12th level of hell. With this guy's strength, even the stupidest person could figure it out. He still dared to kill Ling Xiao? Could he kill him? With his strength, he could not even kill Yuan Mo, let alone Ling Xiao. He was just relying on the few experts by his side. But now those experts were already dead. What else did he have? You can't kill me. I'm the first prince of the Qin Kingdom's royal family. I'm the son of the Lightning Emperor. The 5 elders all like me very much. If you kill me, don't even think about leaving here alive. The first prince shouted in horror. He was already speaking without thinking. What's my name? Ling Xiao suddenly asked. Ling Xiao. Yes, my name is Ling Xiao. I killed the 2nd prince, the 8th prince, the 12th prince, and the 11th prince. I also killed your Elder Kong and destroyed your Supreme Lightning. I just went to the untouchable place and killed that useless Elder Hua. Then, may I ask, what are you compared to them? Ling Xiao looked at the first prince mockingly and asked. Chapter 2873. I've killed so many members of the royal family. So what if I kill one more? Ling Xiao looked at the eldest prince with contempt. This idiot. Before his cultivation reached his current level, he had never been afraid of the Qin Kingdom's royal family. How could he be afraid now? After 10 breaths, I'll kill you. Ling Xiao suddenly sneered. Before you die, remember this world one last time. 10 breaths. The eldest prince was stunned for a moment. Then he climbed onto the mystic tortoise and desperately fled into the distance. Idiot, I let you use this time to repent, but you want to escape. How far can you run in 10 breaths? Ling Xiao didn't make a move. He said 10 breaths, so it was 10 breaths. The eldest prince frantically fled for his life. The mystic tortoise fell to the ground because of his frantic whipping. He climbed to his feet and rushed forward. He didn't know that he could escape at such a speed. He had never run so fast before. However, he still couldn't feel any hope. The shadow of death still shrouded him. His heart was filled with regret. Why did he rush to perform meritorious deeds? Why did he chase after Ling Xiao? He was simply courting death. Last breath. Ling Xiao gently raised a finger and pointed it at the fleeing eldest prince. No. The eldest prince stopped in horror and turned to look at Ling Xiao. The distance was more than 500 meters, but with the eyes of a warrior he could still see Ling Xiao. The guy had a cold smile on his face, as if he was looking at an insignificant paramecium. He wasn't a warrior, not a prince of the Qin kingdom. Swoosh! A purplish-blue electric beam shot out from Ling Xiao's fingertip and instantly traversed 500 meters. I don't want to die yet. The first prince cried out in horror, but it was too late now. The electric beam pierced his throat and then crazily destroyed his body. He could even feel his life force draining away. His body was gradually falling apart. In the end, he died with grievances. His eyes were still open in horror. He, the eldest prince of the Chen kingdom, died just like that. So cowardly, so simple. Ling Xiao easily killed the first prince and then turned around to look at the warriors of Yuanling. Finally, he fixed his gaze on Yuan Mo. The corners of his mouth curled up into a sneer. Yuan Mo was supported by his clansmen. He looked at Ling Xiao in horror, not knowing what to say. In order to serve the royal family, in order to fulfill the eldest prince's wish, he actually attacked Ling Xiao and wanted to kill Ling Xiao. At this moment, when he saw that the first prince and his men were all killed, he completely understood. Ling Xiao's strength was indeed enough to protect the entire Yuanling. What was laughable was that he had actually turned this guardian deity into an enemy to deal with Ling Xiao, constantly offending and infuriating Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao had removed his boundary martial spirit. Leah and her female guard saw everything from within the barrier. Leah herself did not expect Ling Xiao to be so terrifying and powerful. She was still in a state of great shock. He was only 16 years old, but his cultivation was already so terrifying. It was no wonder that such a genius could enter the extreme royal mystic realm. It was no wonder that the royal family wanted to kill him. Suddenly, she thought of something and hurriedly shouted, "Ling Xiao, leave quickly!" Why? Ling Xiao looked at Leah gently. He could also look at people who were good to him warmly. You just killed the first prince of the Qin kingdom. Although he was not favored, he was still the former crown prince. The Thunder Emperor will definitely not let you go. There are also the 5 elders of the Qin kingdom and many other experts. Leah did not understand why Ling Xiao was still so calm. She was extremely anxious. Ling Xiao thought about it and agreed. Although he was not afraid of the experts of the Qin kingdom's royal family, the people of Heavenly Pool Mountain could still pose a huge threat to him. Therefore, he still needed to improve his strength. Just as he was about to leave with Leah and her female guard, suddenly, Yuan Mo spoke. "Leah, what are you talking about? This young hero Ling Xiao is an invincible expert of the Yin-Yang realm. How could he be afraid of the Qin kingdom's royal family? Moreover, he said that he would protect our Yuanling." Speaking up to this point, Yuan Mo looked at Ling Xiao obsequiously and said, "Young hero Ling Xiao, what I did before was because I was blind. I treated Jin Xiangyu as a piece of trash. Yuanling is willing to submit to young hero Ling Xiao. We are willing to repent and atone for our sins. We hope that young hero Ling Xiao will forgive us and stay here to protect our Yuanling from those despicable martial artists of the Qin kingdom." Ling Xiao looked at Yuan Mo again. He already knew that this person was shameless, but he did not expect him to be so shameless. This Yuan Mo's attitude changed from arrogance to deference because of Ling Xiao's strength. He had killed the first prince and 2 martial artists of the Yin-Yang realm at the late stage of the Yin-Yang realm. Therefore, Yuan Mo wanted to use Ling Xiao to fight against the Chen kingdom's royal family and let the Yuanling seize control of the extreme royal mystic realm again. It was really a good plan. "If you dare say another word, I'll slaughter all of Yuanling." Ling Xiao's expression was extremely cold. Other than Leah and her female guard, everyone else scram. Yes, yes, yes. We'll scram, we'll scram. As long as young hero Ling Xiao is willing to help Yuanling, I'm willing to give up my position as the patriarch. Oh, right, I can also give Leah and her female guard too. You can do whatever you want with them. Yuan Mo was still chattering away as he retreated. Scram! Ling Xiao's voice was cold and angry. This Yuan Mo was really hopeless. Everyone leave. Seeing Ling Xiao's expression, Yuan Mo knew that they might really be killed if they stayed, so he led the rest of Yuanling away. Leah, what do you plan to do? Leave with me or stay? Ling Xiao looked at Leah and asked, I want to go with you. Leah raised her head and gritted her teeth. Okay, Demonic Dragon City or the 8 Immortals County. Choose one. Both are my territories. You can live and work in peace. Ling Xiao smiled. This girl was not a fool after all. That kind of father and clansman were not worth being nostalgic for. What about you? Leah asked. I still have things to do here. The Chen Kingdom's royal family owes me a lot of debts. I want to collect all of them. Ling Xiao said with a chuckle. Then be careful. Leah glanced at Ling Xiao. She was somewhat attached to this mysterious and powerful young man. However, she also knew that she was not worthy of this person. To be able to leave this damned place and live in peace was already an incomparably blissful thing for her. Okay, then after the illusion array is broken, we'll leave together. For now, you guys stay here first. Chapter 2874. Although a night had passed, the illusory array was still not completely broken. Although the illusory realm in the extreme royal secret realm was not complicated, it was too big. Even if one knew how to break it, it would take at least 3 days and 3 nights. It had to be said that there were special talents in the Chen Kingdom's royal family. Or could it be that this illusory array was originally left behind by their ancestors? This was no longer important. What was important was that Ling Xiao still had to stay for 2 more days, so he had to be more careful. He only hoped that the matter in the untouchable place would not be exposed. Otherwise, if the Chen Kingdom's royal family brought experts from the heavenly Pool Mountain to encircle and annihilate him, then he would really be doomed. If only one came, then there was no need to be too concerned. Okay. Leah nodded. She now completely trusted Ling Xiao and did not have the slightest doubt. After entering the Yuanling, she even moved into the room next to Ling Xiao's. Those clansmen, as well as her disgusting father, had thoroughly disappointed her. As for Yuan Mo, he did not do anything unnecessary. He probably still hoped that Ling Xiao could stay and resist the wrath of the Chen Kingdom's royal family. In the dead of night, Ling Xiao was in his room, studying the Yu God Beast Talisman. Ever since this thing began to change, it had stopped reacting. Although the Yu God constellation appeared in the tyrannical universe, he still could not obtain the Yu God Beast soul. Therefore, he was very confused. It just so happened that he was bored, so he took it out and studied it. At this moment, Leah came in with dinner. She said that she had made it herself and hoped that Ling Xiao could taste it. Ling Xiao casually placed the beast talisman to the side, but it attracted Leah's attention. Big brother Ling Xiao, why does this beast talisman of yours look so similar to the pattern on my pendant? As she spoke, Leah took out her pendant. It was actually a rooster crowing with its head raised. Seeing this, Ling Xiao instantly became excited. Where did you get this? This was found in the extreme royal secret realm in the Yuanling. After my father became the chief, he took it for himself. Later, my mother made this thing into a pendant for me. Leah explained. Can I see it? Ling Xiao asked. Of course. Leah gave the rooster pendant to Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao held the pendant in his hand. He could clearly feel that there was some kind of resonance between the pendant and the beast amulet. He was overjoyed, so he injected his soul power into the pendant and the beast talisman at the same time. At that moment, the pendant and the beast amulet produced a crazy attractive force. Ling Xiao could not control the combination of the two. The beast talisman fused with the pendant and then turned into a ball of golden light, bursting into Ling Xiao's spirit sea. Then, in the tyrannical universe, a star in the Yu God constellation lit up. The resplendent radiance illuminated the entire mountain river world. Big brother Ling Xiao, what happened? He saw Ling Xiao bathed in golden light, and a rooster appeared behind him. Leah's entire body was stunned. It's fine, Ling Xiao said faintly, and then retracted the golden light, and then immersed himself in his tyrannical universe. The tyrannical martial spirit had now perfectly fused with his soul. Therefore, he could clearly feel any subtle changes in the tyrannical universe. When 3 stars in the sun god constellation lit up, he obtained 3 types of sun god divine abilities. When 1 star in the Yu god constellation lit up, he also obtained a type of Yu god divine ability. Not only that, on the Yu god throne, the remnant soul of the Yu god appeared. This beast soul was not as complete as the sun god and the ox god beast soul, but it could still greatly enhance the Yu god throne's beast soul. So the beast amulet and the pendant in Leah's hand are the places where the Yu god beast soul resides. It's a pity that it's only a remnant soul. It seems that the rest of the Yu god beast soul should have fallen into the hands of the Qin country's royal family. After all, the Qin country's royal family has more resources in the imperial secret realm. In this way, the Lightning Emperor can't be easily killed. I have to first obtain the complete Yu god beast soul from him. Otherwise, the power of this divine ability can't be unleashed to the extreme. Ling Xiao thought in his heart, and he was quite surprised. He helped Leah out of gratitude, but he didn't expect that because of this he would obtain the thing he dreamed of. Different from the sun god divine ability, the Yu god divine ability wasn't a combat divine ability. But in Ling Xiao's view, it was more useful than a combat divine ability. The name of this divine ability was Life Rewind. Simply put, it was able to rewind one's life or another person's life. Whether it was old or injured, it could be rewound to the state one wanted. For example, if one suffered a life-threatening injury, if one used Life Rewind, one's life state could be rewound to the state before the injury. And when one's life was old, one could also choose to rewind, and the rewind time could be decades or even centuries. This was the explanation of this ability. But Ling Xiao knew that he couldn't do it, because his cultivation was still too weak, and he couldn't unleash the full power of the Yu God Beast Soul. Currently, when he used this Life Rewind, he could at most rewind his life to 10 seconds ago. It sounded very useless, but in fact it wasn't. 10 seconds would have a huge impact on the outcome of a battle. If Ling Xiao could rewind his life state to 10 seconds ago, that meant that the injuries he suffered in these 10 seconds would be completely ineffective. Not only that, it could also remove all negative states. This was even more terrifying than the legendary immortal body. And the key point was that this ability could not only be used on himself, but also on others. It could be used to save friends. It could also be used to trick enemies. If the enemy was injured and took pills or treated, then Ling Xiao could completely rewind his life state to 10 seconds ago. In other words, before taking any pills or treating his life state. Then it would be fun. This was not only an immortal body, but also a terrifying divine ability that could make the enemy suffer so much that they wish they were dead. Now that he was so powerful, if one day Ling Xiao could completely control this Yu God Beast Soul and raise his cultivation to an extremely powerful level, how terrifying would that be? However, he didn't know if the ability of the 12 beast gods could still be used after leaving the Black Tortoise continent. It would be a pity if he couldn't use it. But now was not the time to worry about this. Not to mention the entire profound world. Just the Black Tortoise continent, he had only set foot in a small part of it. With this ability, at least in the Black Tortoise continent, it would be as difficult as ascending to the heavens for anyone who wanted to kill him in the future. This ability was too perverted and too powerful, although there might be a certain regional restriction, but it was still incomparably powerful. In the past, it was rumored that the Yu god could control time. Chapter 2875. Ling Xiao knew very well that controlling time was something that even those who were stronger than him would not be able to do. Even the top existences of the Eternal Life Palace couldn't do this. Ling Xiao could because he had obtained the 12 divine beasts deity position, and this time he had obtained the remnant soul of the undying god. However, this wasn't enough. If he obtained the complete undying god beast soul, this ability should be strengthened a little. After all, 10 seconds was still too short. Even if it was increased by 1 second, it would definitely be a great advantage. However, although this thing wasn't as shocking as the Tyrant martial soul, it was definitely enough to make the cultivators of the entire Black Tortoise continent go crazy. Ling Xiao still planned to use it carefully. If he could hide it, he would try his best to hide it. Otherwise, once it was known, he would definitely become the target of public criticism. The experts of the Black Tortoise continent would probably fight for this thing with their lives. They would definitely not let him have an easy time. To be precise, Life Backtrack should be a divine ability above the Black Tortoise continent's life law. Even if Ling Xiao was completely dead, as long as the Life Backtrack ability was still there, it could be automatically activated. Basically, it could be said that he was almost immortal. Moreover, this ability could be used flexibly. For example, within 10 seconds, he could exhaust his stamina to do something, and then use Life Backtrack, and his stamina would be completely restored. Of course, internal force was not applicable. After all, internal force was not a part of life. Life referred to things that were innate, such as the body, stamina, soul, and so on. Even so, this was already very heaven-defying. When he used the horizontal golden light technique before, he couldn't use it continuously because it consumed too much stamina. With this Life Backtrack, he could at least use it continuously for a long time. Of course, such a powerful and heaven-defying technique naturally had its own limitations. The 3 divine abilities of the Sun God consumed a terrifying amount of internal force and had a cooldown of half an hour. As for this undying God divine ability, although it didn't consume anything, there was a cooldown of 3 hours after each use. If he was killed twice in a row within 3 hours, he would be done for, so he still couldn't use it endlessly. However, Ling Xiao wasn't greedy. With the Earth Elemental Golden Light and Life Rewind, at the very least, no one would be able to kill him if he wanted to live. If he were to be killed twice within 3 hours, it would be too embarrassing. One had to know that from the beginning of the Heavenly Dragon Continent until now, although he had almost been killed, he hadn't truly died. Life Rewind was one of his trump cards. It was fine if he didn't use it, but once he used it, it would stun his enemies to directly solve the problem. Speaking of which, obtaining the deity position of the 12 divine beasts was truly an extremely fortunate thing for Ling Xiao. The Sun God already had 3 divine abilities: Ground Manipulation Golden Light Technique, Bloodthirsty Plague, and Bloody Rat Demon. The Undying God also had a divine ability Life Backtrack. No matter which divine ability, Undying. With these things, it would not be difficult for him to unify the Black Tortoise continent. It wouldn't take long for him to reach the top of Undying God. Phoenix in the Cloud, Chun Sangxiong, Lei Di, and the others were just thorns on his path. As long as he cut through them, it wouldn't be a big problem. I'm sorry, Leah. I'm afraid I can't return your pendant to you. I can compensate you with something else. Ling Xiao recovered from his shock and joy as he looked at Leah and said, No need to be sorry. You saved my life. This is more important than anything else. I can see that the pendant is very important to you, Brother Ling Xiao. Hurry up and eat, the food is getting cold. Leah's face blushed as she said, shyly. Ling Xiao nodded. Originally, he didn't plan to eat supper, but now that he was in a good mood, he really couldn't disappoint the girl's kind intentions. After eating, Leah obediently took the cutlery and left. She knew that Ling Xiao still needed to cultivate. At this time, it was better not to disturb him. After Leah left, Ling Xiao tried to use life backtrack. To be safe, he only made a cut on his arm. After using life backtrack, it completely returned to normal. Moreover, it didn't affect his cultivation. In other words, life backtrack could reverse one's life, but it wouldn't reverse one's cultivation. This made Ling Xiao worry completely disappear. 3 hours later, he tried again. This time, he directly broke his arm. After using life backtrack again, it was as good as new. Originally, he wanted to try to kill himself and see if he could really come back to life. However, the risk of this test was too great. After thinking about it, he gave up. If he didn't come back to life, then the losses would outweigh the gains. After confirming the effects of life backtrack, Ling Xiao tried his best to calm down. Then he began to rest. Now, he rarely sat cross-legged to cultivate. This was because the improvement from cultivating like this was almost negligible. It couldn't compare to the huge improvement brought to him by fighting. With this kind of time, he would rather conserve his energy and then fight with the enemy. Of course, before resting, he used 2 hours to refine the 1,000-year flesh lingji and 1,000-year fire snake grass into elixirs. The night passed just like that. The next day, when the sky lit up, a group of powerful auras suddenly accelerated and approached the Yuanling tribe. Ling Xiao lay in his room and could still feel the auras of these people. These people didn't hide their auras at all and released them to their heart's content. The people who came were much stronger than the ones the first prince had brought yesterday. In particular, the 2 people in the lead were actually at the peak of the 12th level of the hell. Ling Xiao was very familiar with the aura of one of them. It was the former deputy sect master of the dragon cult, Phoenix in the Cloud. The other person was more unfamiliar. He couldn't guess whose aura it was, but he felt that it was even stronger than Phoenix in the Cloud. The warriors of the Yuanling tribe didn't have the ability to sense auras as Ling Xiao did. However, when the thousands of warriors approached, they still felt it. Fear and uneasiness instantly filled everyone's body. They knew that the first prince's death yesterday had infuriated the Chen Kingdom's royal family. These people were definitely here for revenge. These people didn't care who killed the first prince. They were purely here to destroy the Yuanling tribe. To the Chen Kingdom's royal family, the existence of the Yuanling tribe was always a bone in their throat. It was very uncomfortable. Chapter 2876. The Chen Kingdom's royal family was worried that the Yuanling tribe would rebel while they were fighting the dragon cult. They would be in trouble. Therefore, they had to get rid of this trouble before the war started. The death of the first prince was just an excuse. The murderous aura instantly filled the entire Yuanling tribe. The warriors of the Chen Kingdom's royal family had completely surrounded the tribe. Within the tribe, the warriors of the Yuanling tribe were so nervous that they did not even dare to breathe loudly. When these warriors stood still, Phoenix in the Cloud looked coldly at the Yuanling tribe. Then she waved her hand and said, "Kill! Leave no one alive. Kill all of them, regardless of gender or age." Yes, the martial artists shouted in unison. These were not the warriors of the outside sections. They were the Heavenly Thunder Army and the Divine Thunder Guards who had undergone strict training. Their combat strength might not be comparable to the experts outside, but if they attacked together, they would be extremely powerful. As the battle cries rang out, this group of people stepped into the Yuanling tribe and began a frenzied massacre. They killed everyone they met. They killed everyone they met. It was as if they wanted to destroy all living things in front of them. Even the giant tree fortress was easily destroyed. This group of people was truly too powerful. The Yuanling tribe was facing the threat of destruction. Help! Spare me! Cries for help, screams, and pleas for mercy rang out one after another. Voices filled with fear and despair intertwined to form a hellish symphony. These soldiers of the Chen Kingdom's royal family were completely obedient. When they killed, there was no emotion on their faces. There was only coldness and fighting spirit. Wherever they went, everything turned into a scorched earth, a scene of hell. Under the protection of many people, Yuan Mo arrived at the house where Ling Xiao was. He knelt in front of Ling Xiao in fear and pleaded in the most humble voice. Young hero Ling, the Chen Kingdom's royal family, is here for revenge. They're here to avenge the first prince. What does it have to do with me? Ling Xiao looked at Yuan Mo mockingly and asked. Of course it has something to do with you. They are here to kill you because you killed the first prince. Yuan Mo didn't understand what Ling Xiao meant, but deep worry and uneasiness rose in his heart. Oh, then let them come. I'm waiting here. You can scram now. Ling Xiao looked at Yuan Mo and waved his hand casually while eating the breakfast prepared by Leah. Leah and her female guard were at the side, but they didn't say anything. Young hero Ling, you can't do this. Those ferocious bastards are slaughtering Yuanling's martial artists. They can't bear the consequences for you. Yuan Mo was anxious. Did you hear that? Leah, what do you think I should do? Ling Xiao looked at Leah and asked, If you say something, I might be able to save your people. Leah was silent for a long time, as if she was thinking. Yuan Mo actually knelt down in front of Leah. Daughter, you are my precious daughter. You can't just leave me to die. Young hero Ling will listen to you. You must ask him to save our tribe. Why should I? Leah suddenly looked at Yuan Mo coldly and said, Yesterday, when you trapped me in the cage and wanted to give me to that beast, I had completely given up on you. I had given up on this tribe. The truly good warriors were all killed by that beast yesterday. The remaining people have nothing to do with me. You heard that. Scram! Ling Xiao waved his hand and Yuan Mo flew out of the door. But this guy actually crawled back. Young hero Ling, as long as you are willing to save us, we will be loyal to you. You are the only one who can fight those people now. Looking at Yuan Mo, Ling Xiao's eerie smile bloomed. It was full of indifference and mockery. Yuan Mo, do you have amnesia? Have you forgotten so quickly that your meta-spirit race martial practitioners are the ones who want to kill me? I'm already giving Leah face by not destroying your meta-spirit race. Now you want me to save you? Wishful thinking. Ling Xiao looked at Yuan Mo disdainfully and said coldly, Do you think I, Ling Xiao, am an idiot? I am not that stupid, nor am I that benevolent. Scram! Once again, Ling Xiao kicked Yuan Mo out, but this time he didn't show mercy. Yuan Mo was kicked hundreds of meters away and fell into the chaotic battle circle. Yuan Mo crawled up from the ground in horror. Without his cultivation, he would die if those people from the Chen Kingdom's royal family caught up with him. His heart was filled with endless regret and despair. He knew that Yuanling was finished. Everything was because he had offended Ling Xiao again and again. It was already wrong of him to put Ling Xiao under house arrest. He even obeyed the first prince's order to kill Ling Xiao. How could Ling Xiao forgive him? He felt that he was really stupid. How could he have done such a thing? They were going to kill Ling Xiao. How could Ling Xiao protect them? From the beginning, this was an extravagant hope. He was surrounded by a large number of meta-spirit race martial practitioners who were protecting him and preventing him from retreating. He could only watch helplessly as these people died around him. He was incomparably angry and incomparably pained. He had only himself to blame for all of this. Heaven's sins could be forgiven, but man's sins could not be forgiven. He gritted his teeth. He ordered the strongest warriors of the tribe to protect him from a secret passage to the outside of the tribe. However, he didn't escape, because he knew that he couldn't escape. He came to Phoenix in the cloud and knelt on the ground. Honorable Powerhouse, I am the chief of Yuanling. His Highness, the first prince, was killed in our Yuanling tribe. We are also very angry, so we have trapped the murderer in the tribe. That guy's name is Ling Xiao. He was the one who killed the first prince, not us. We are willing to be loyal servants of the Qin Nation's royal family. Please forgive us on account of our loyalty." At this point, since Yuan Mo couldn't get Ling Xiao to help, the only thing he could do was to beg the Qin Nation's royal family to pardon him and protect him. "Who did you just say?" Phoenix in the Cloud's expression was extremely ugly. He thought that he could avoid Ling Xiao when he came to Thunder City. He didn't expect to hear this person's name here. He had escaped a disaster on demonic Dragon Mountain. Could it be that he couldn't escape this time? He was incomparably terrified. It hadn't been long since Deputy Sect Master Yin, who used to treat Ling Xiao as an ant, became afraid of Ling Xiao. He was also very depressed, but this was affected by his strength. He couldn't help but fear Ling Xiao. He was terrified of Ling Xiao. "Phoenix in the Cloud, what are you afraid of?" Someone beside him asked faintly. Phoenix in the Cloud turned his head to look at this person. Chapter 2877. No, nothing. Of course, Phoenix in the Cloud did not dare to tell this person that he was afraid of Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao was just a 16-year-old kid in the first rank. His cultivation was even lower than his. If he was afraid, this person would look down on him. This person was one of the experts from the Heavenly Pool Mountain. He was definitely stronger than all the warriors in the Qin Nation. With him around, what was there to be afraid of? Thinking of this, Phoenix in the Cloud heaved a sigh of relief. He jumped off the black tortoise and walked toward Yuan Mo with a faint smile on his face. Seeing Phoenix in the Cloud walking toward him, Yuan Mo was both afraid and excited. He was afraid of the Qin Nation's royal family, but at the same time he hoped that the Qin Nation's royal family could kill Ling Xiao so that he could feel better. He lay there like a docile dog. "I'm sorry, Qin Nation's royal family needs a fierce dog that can bite people. You're already useless. You're not worthy." Phoenix in the Cloud's words made Yuan Mo's expression freeze. He raised his head in horror. The only thing he saw was a ferocious lava beast. It looked like a lion, but its entire body was made of lava. Only its eyes gave off a human feeling. This fierce beast was Phoenix in the Cloud's mount. Its cold eyes stared fixedly at Yuan Mo, and then it swung its huge claws down. Yuan Mo was slammed to the ground by the lava claws and instantly turned into a pool of blood. Then he evaporated. Death was so easy. The high and mighty leader of the Metaspirit race had died without leaving anything behind. It was even more tragic than dying without a complete corpse. Continue killing. Leave no one alive. Phoenix in the Cloud jumped back onto the lava lion and stood on its back. He looked at the Yuanling tribe sinisterly. He swore that he would kill Ling Xiao completely while the experts from the Heavenly Pool Mountain were by his side. Otherwise, he would be trampled on by a kid for the rest of his life. This was something that he could not tolerate. Roar! The lava lion seemed to roar in dissatisfaction. It was very unhappy about being ridden by Phoenix in the Cloud. "Evil creature, I've already forgiven you by letting you become my mount. You'd better not resist. Otherwise, I'll make you suffer a pain worse than death every day." Phoenix in the Cloud looked down at the lava lion and suddenly kicked its head. Blood that looked like lava was dripping from it. Although the lava lion was furious, there was nothing it could do. It could only whine and let Phoenix in the Cloud order it around. "Good girl." Phoenix in the Cloud smiled proudly, then took a deep breath and focused all of his energy into his voice. He roared at the Yuanling tribe, "Ling Xiao, I know you're here. Come out and die." The others were still slaughtering the warriors of Yuanling. This was definitely a disaster. However, killing these useless trash was not enough to satisfy Phoenix in the Cloud. He wanted Ling Xiao dead. Ling Xiao protected Leah and the female guard in his beast ring and slowly walked out of the Yuanling tribe. His cold eyes looked at Phoenix in the Cloud, who was on the lava lion's back, with disdain. There was a hint of mockery and indifference in his eyes. Soon, all of the Metaspirit clan martial practitioners had been slaughtered, and almost all of them had gathered around Ling Xiao. A few reckless fellows, perhaps addicted to killing, actually attacked Ling Xiao. The result was self-evident. Those who attacked Ling Xiao were all killed. Moreover, no one saw how Ling Xiao attacked. Ling Xiao just stood there calmly, the corners of his mouth hooked up in a disdainful smile. Thousands of warriors from the Qin nation's royal family surrounded him, but no one dared to attack him. "Get out of the way, General Cloud. Let me take this kid's head." After all, there were still some bold ones. One of Phoenix in the Cloud's generals was called Pan Feng. Back in the dragon cult, he was a leader. Later, he joined the Qin nation's royal family and became Phoenix in the Cloud's deputy general. Phoenix in the Cloud was now one of the generals of the Divine Thunder Guards. "All right, Pan Feng, listen up. Let your spear drink his blood." Phoenix in the Cloud naturally knew that Pan Feng was no match for Ling Xiao. However, he wanted to see how powerful Ling Xiao had become after obtaining the Demon Dragon Sword. Back in the Demon Dragon Mountain, he had fled because he was too flustered. However, after he escaped, he felt that something was wrong. He felt that he had been scared out of his wits and had made the wrong choice. Although Pan Feng was definitely no match for Ling Xiao, his cultivation had reached the late stage of the Yin-Yang realm's 12th level of hell. Furthermore, he had rich combat experience. The blood-drinking spear in his hand was also a divine-grade spiritual artifact. His martial soul was also a spear martial soul. Together, the power of the blood-drinking spear was probably no less than a mortal-grade emperor artifact. Therefore, Phoenix in the Cloud wanted to use Pan Feng's sacrifice to test Ling Xiao's strength. As for whether Pan Feng died or not, he didn't care. Understood. After hearing Phoenix in the Cloud's order, Pan Feng took out the blood-drinking spear and revealed a sinister smile. The demonic beast under him lifted its leg and walked towards Ling Xiao. When it was about 50 meters away, it stopped. Then it pointed its spear at Ling Xiao. "Kid, you'd better surrender. Otherwise, if you're pierced by my blood-drinking spear, you'll definitely bleed to death." Pan Feng seemed very confident. However, Ling Xiao's gaze wasn't on Pan Feng. Instead, it was on the lion under Phoenix in the Cloud's feet. He sensed a very familiar aura from the lava lion. It was as if it didn't hear Pan Feng's voice. "Ah, I'm so angry. You actually dare to look down on me. I am the great General Pan Feng." Pan Feng was so angry that his body kept trembling. He wanted to see the fear in Ling Xiao's eyes. He wanted to see the pitiful appearance of his opponent due to fear. He liked that kind of appearance. He liked the look of despair in his enemy's eyes before death. However, Ling Xiao acted as if he didn't exist. How could he endure this? He roared, his entire body emitting a bloodthirsty and murderous aura, as he waved the blood-drinking spear in his hand. It emitted a dense, bloody aura that made people feel very uncomfortable. Ling Xiao still didn't look at Pan Feng. Instead, he lifted his leg and walked forward. "Tuoba Yunxiang?" he suddenly asked, because he smelled Tuoba Yunxiang's scent from the lava lion's body. Although Tuoba Yunxiang wanted to kill him for revenge, the two of them didn't know each other well. Later on, if Tuoba Yunxiang hadn't told him about Phoenix and the Cloud scheme in advance, Yi Wuxing would have been killed. That would definitely become his regret for life. However, when he returned to Demonic Dragon City last time, he didn't see Tuoba Yunxiang's figure. He felt that it was strange. He didn't expect to smell Tuoba Yunxiang's scent from the lava lion's body. Roar! The lava lion roared, as if venting its dissatisfaction and bursting out all the grievances in its heart. "Evil creature!" A whip appeared in Phoenix in the Cloud's hand and ruthlessly whipped the lava lion's body. Chapter 2878. Ling Xiao, you should take care of yourself first. Since I found you here today, you're dead meat. As for him, that's right, he's Tuoba Yunxiang. Not bad, right? I used the secret technique of the dragon cult and combined it with the demon. The magma beast in the sea mystic realm was modified. I made him what he is now. This way he won't betray me, right? Ha! Phoenix in the cloud laughed maniacally. You're dead meat. Ling Xiao looked coldly at Phoenix in the cloud as he walked. Tuoba Yunxiang was his benefactor. He definitely couldn't watch Tuoba Yunxiang be trampled on by Phoenix in the cloud. This scum. Bastard, your opponent is me, Phoenix in the cloud's General Pan Feng. Pan Feng saw that he was being ignored. He was completely enraged. He urged the demonic beast under him to charge at Ling Xiao. Under the crazy speed, the blood-drinking spear drew a blood-red light. He must kill Ling Xiao. He definitely couldn't let this guy, who dared to look down on him and ignore him live. The Chen nation's martial artists looked at Ling Xiao with schadenfreude. It was as if Ling Xiao would be pierced by the blood-drinking spear in the next moment. Then he would turn into a dried corpse. However, Ling Xiao still didn't look at Pan Feng. He walked slowly towards Phoenix in the cloud, getting closer and closer. At this moment, Pan Feng's blood-drinking spear finally pierced Ling Xiao. A crazy power erupted from Ling Xiao's body. At that point, it had turned completely blood-red. The Chun nation's martial artists were excited because this was the precursor of the blood-drinking spear's bloodthirst. However, Pan Feng's face became extremely stiff. His spear actually didn't pierce Ling Xiao's skin. It didn't even pierce Ling Xiao's protective elemental energy. At this moment, Ling Xiao finally turned his head and looked at Pan Feng. Do you want to die that much? As his voice fell, he grabbed the tip of the blood-drinking spear with one hand. Then he exerted force, and the end of the blood-drinking spear left Pan Feng's hands and pierced through her body. Tyrant, blood, demon dragon blood curse. Actually, there was no need to use the demon dragon blood curse to deal with this kind of trash. But Ling Xiao still used it, because Pan Feng liked to turn her enemies into mummified corpses. He turned Pan Feng into a mummified corpse as well. Following the activation of the demonic dragon blood curse, Pan Feng's corpse gradually shriveled up. In the end, he became a dried corpse. Ling Xiao casually crushed the blood-drinking spear into scrap metal. Weapons of this level were still mainstream weapons, even outside of the Qin nation. Furthermore, they were extremely valuable. But Ling Xiao didn't care. Kill! After killing Pan Feng so easily, he roared furiously. His body turned into a demonic dragon phantom as he pounced towards Pan Feng. Phoenix in the cloud. Phoenix in the cloud was still in shock. He absolutely did not think that Ling Xiao, this fellow, would actually destroy Pan Feng so easily. Pan Feng's blood-drinking spear couldn't even break through a layer of Ling Xiao's skin, let alone injure Ling Xiao. This was simply terrifying to the extreme. He hurriedly attacked with both palms. He collided with Ling Xiao, but the terrifying power coming from the other side sent him flying. At this moment, Ling Xiao hadn't entered any transformation state. Ling Xiao didn't even look at Phoenix in the cloud. He only patted Tuoba Yunxiang's body lightly and said, "Thank you for your hard work. All right, return to my beast ring first. Then, I'll think of a way to restore you to your original state." Although he didn't know if there was a way, Ling Xiao would try his best. After putting Tuoba Yunxiang away, Ling Xiao's cold gaze turned back to Phoenix in the cloud. It was like two sharp swords. It was as if they wanted to pierce through Phoenix in the cloud. "What are you doing?" Phoenix in the cloud crawled up from the ground. He was even more terrified. Ling Xiao had completely destroyed his confidence in the first collision. This guy was already crippled. At the very least, he no longer had any confidence in front of Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao stood in the air, exuding a terrifying killing intent. He looked at Phoenix in the cloud and suddenly grinned. "What am I doing? Of course, I'm going to kill you. Anyone who blocks me will die." He didn't like killing, but if someone insisted on blocking him, then sorry he wouldn't show mercy. The Chen Kingdom's royal warriors were all trembling. Ling Zhao's strength was too terrifying. He actually killed Pan Feng in one move, repelled Phoenix in the cloud, and even saved the lava lion. This series of actions simply made people feel that it was inconceivable. Attack together. We don't have to be afraid of him if we attack together. Phoenix in the cloud roared angrily. He was afraid that he wouldn't be a match for Ling Zhao alone, but there were many of them, other than the warrior from Tianqi Mountain. The rest were the elites of the Sky Thunder Legion. With thousands of people attacking at the same time, he wouldn't be afraid that Ling Zhao wouldn't die if he suddenly launched a sneak attack. Hearing Phoenix in the cloud's voice, the Chen Kingdom's royal warriors gradually suppressed their fear. What replaced it was bloodlust and madness. Everyone seemed to treat Ling Zhao as their prey. Everyone seemed to have turned into wild beasts. Do you all want to die? Ling Zhao still didn't transform, and he still didn't draw his sword. His strength was already much stronger than before. Boom! He stood there, but an extremely terrifying aura erupted from his body. This aura set off a crazy storm that swept in all directions. Those martial artists with weaker strength were actually directly blown flying out, fainting on the spot. Terror once again lingered in the hearts of all the Chen Kingdom's warriors. The youth's strength and fear once again made them tremble. It's useless to retreat. He won't let any of us go. We can only live if we kill him. Fight! Phoenix in the cloud roared. This guy was really good at fanning the flames. However, what he said was also true. Since these people had decided to attack Ling Zhao, they had to bear the brunt of Ling Zhao's fury. Ling Zhao's thunderous fury. Boom! Ling Zhao's aura was still rising. It was as if there was no end to it, and it was getting stronger and stronger. Phoenix in the cloud felt his body trembling. The Taoist priest from Tianqi Mountain also frowned. Kill him! Phoenix in the cloud roared again. He knew that he couldn't let Ling Zhao's aura continue to rise. If this continued, Ling Zhao would kill them all. The only way was to strike first and kill Ling Zhao first. Otherwise, everything would be empty. As Phoenix in the cloud's voice fell, thousands of warriors, including him, all rushed out. It seemed that they were ready to burn all their boats and risk their lives. Ling Zhao's gaze was still cold. Facing this group of enemies, he suddenly spread his legs and got into a horse stance. Then, a loud roar burst out from his mouth. An invisible aura, wrapped in a strong, murderous aura, rushed in all directions. Hundreds of the thousands of warriors were directly sent flying. They were the closest to Ling Zhao. Some of them were even smashed into pieces by the time they flew into the air. This kid can actually kill those warriors with just his aura. It seems that Phoenix in the cloud is afraid of him. It's not unreasonable. The expert from Tianqi Mountain sneered and then returned to normal. But it's a pity that such a talented. Chapter 2879. Ling Zhao's attack was enough to shock the Qin Nation's warriors. Many of them were stunned. However, Ling Zhao did not stop attacking. Of course, he would not stop now. Since the battle had already begun, there was no need for sympathy. Ling Zhao's hand kept shooting out tiny sword lights. When the sword lights landed on the crowd, they produced terrifying explosions. Every sword light would take dozens of lives. However, under Phoenix in the cloud's command, the Qin Nation's warriors did not retreat out of fear. They continued to charge forward. But what they received was Ling Zhao's even more brutal massacre. Thunder storm technique, lava storm, terrifying energy kept exploding in the Yuanling tribe. This place, which had once nurtured elemental creatures, was about to turn into ashes. Ling Zhao stared coldly at Phoenix in the cloud, who was in the crowd. Phoenix in the cloud kept urging the people around him to charge forward, but he himself kept retreating. It seemed like he wanted to ambush Ling Xiao, but Ling Xiao felt that he was more afraid. It's time to end this boring battle. Ling Xiao took a step forward with his right foot. His body suddenly turned into a demonic dragon phantom. He penetrated the defense of hundreds of people and appeared in front of Phoenix in the cloud. Die, Phoenix in the cloud! Bastard! Do you really think I'm afraid of you? Phoenix in the cloud had nowhere to run. In front of him was Ling Xiao, and behind him was the Heavenly Pool mountain martial artist, who was emitting a terrifying aura. The Heavenly Pool mountain warrior stared at him. He was clearly saying that if he dared to take another step back, he would kill him. Phoenix in the cloud had some confidence in dealing with Ling Xiao. However, against the Heavenly Pool mountain warrior, Phoenix in the cloud had no confidence at all. Therefore, he could only charge toward Ling Xiao crazily. A ball of terrifying energy condensed in his hands. His fists rained down on Ling Xiao like a madman. Ling Xiao stood in the air and stared coldly at Phoenix in the cloud. The energy contained in the fists had killed hundreds of Chen State warriors on the spot, and that was just the energy that had leaked out. It went without saying how terrifying the core energy was. However, the corners of his mouth curled up into a cold smile. He sneered disdainfully. With a casual slap, the terrifying ball of energy was easily dispersed. Pathetic human scum, today is your doomsday. After slapping away the ball of energy, Ling Xiao pierced Phoenix in the cloud's throat with his finger. A beam of sword light bloomed from his finger. Phoenix in the cloud's throat was pierced, and his eyes were glazed over. Save me! Save me! This Phoenix in the cloud was indeed a yin-yang realm martial artist at the peak of the 12th level of hell. Although his throat was pierced, he did not die immediately. His soul had actually fused with his martial spirit, and he was begging for mercy from the Heavenly Pool mountain martial artist. Trash! The expert from the Heavenly Pool mountain casually slapped his palm. An origin energy exploded from his palm and dispersed Phoenix in the cloud's martial spirit. It was a pity that Phoenix in the cloud had his soul dispersed. With Phoenix in the cloud's death, the rest of the Qin State warriors did not dare to attack anymore. They stood there trembling as they looked at Ling Xiao in fear. The expert from the Heavenly Pool Mountain also looked at Ling Xiao with disdain. Although he did not expect Ling Xiao to be so powerful, in his eyes, Ling Xiao was just SOSO. As long as his cultivation had not reached the 13th level of hell, he was trash in his eyes. Why didn't you obediently stay in the Heavenly Pool Mountain and cultivate? Why did you come to the Chen State to seek death? Ling Xiao looked at the expert from the Heavenly Pool Mountain and said coldly, this person had already shown him absolute hostility, so there was no need for him to be courteous. The Chen State is willing to accept my Heavenly Pool Mountain's protection. I'm only helping them clean up the trash. The aura of the expert from the Heavenly Pool Mountain suddenly became stronger. The ground around him began to shake. The ground cracked open, and countless rocks and dirt flew into the sky. Looking at the terrifying aura, it formed a strong gust of wind, blowing everything in the surroundings crazily. Trash, remember, the person who killed you is called Li Xiao Tian. As he continued to release his inner energy, the aura of the expert from the Heavenly Pool Mountain became stronger and stronger. His cold voice echoed in everyone's ears. Li Xiao Tian, huh? That's a good name. Unfortunately, I just divined for you. This time, your life will end in the Qin State. As he spoke, Ling Xiao's body began to change. He quickly entered the Tyrant blood, demonic, dragon, martial spirit transformation state. In that instant, his aura was 10 times stronger than before. At the same time, the Blood Thunder Emperor sword appeared in his hand, and a blood-red sword martial spirit appeared behind his back. His aura increased once again. What? Seeing this scene, Li Xiaotian's originally calm eyes revealed a bit of surprise. I didn't expect that your strength could still increase. However, This little bit of strength is nothing in front of me." The look of surprise disappeared in an instant, and the look of disdain once again appeared in his eyes. With absolute strength, it was no wonder that he was so arrogant. After all, he was an expert from the heavenly Pool Mountain. He was a first revolution yin-yang realm martial artist at the early stage of the 13th level of hell. Li Xiaotian's weapon was also a sword. It was a mortal grade emperor weapon, the same level as Ling Zhao's Blood Thunder Emperor sword. Li Xiaotian's martial spirit was also a sword martial spirit. Even a first revolution yin-yang realm martial artist at the 13th level of hell would suffer a backlash when using a mortal grade emperor weapon. However, it was different for a martial artist with a weapon martial spirit. Therefore, one should never underestimate a martial artist with a weapon martial spirit. Although they could not transform like a martial artist with a beast martial spirit, they did not have the terrifying, offensive power of a martial artist with a nature martial spirit. However, they were the best in terms of adaptability. Kill. In the face of a powerful enemy, Ling Xiao did not retreat. Instead, a violent killing intent bloomed from his body. The Blood Thunder Emperor sword stabbed out crazily. Humph! Li Xiaotian looked at Ling Zhao's attack with disdain and snorted coldly. Then he swung the sword in his hand. A seemingly ordinary sword, qi, pierced through the air and directly blasted on Ling Zhao's Blood Thunder Emperor sword. At that moment, Ling Xiao felt a terrifying force coming. It passed through the Blood Thunder Emperor sword and hit his body. His body fell to the ground like a meteor, creating a deep crater. Stand up. Such a weak attack can't kill you. I'm really lucky to have met a genius like you. This time, I'm going to have a good time. Li Xiaotian seemed to enjoy torturing people, especially geniuses. In his opinion, Ling Xiao was a person who was definitely more talented than him. Therefore, he hated him even more. He absolutely did not want to see Ling Xiao live until tomorrow. Rumble. The hole shattered and Ling Xiao jumped out. There was still a trace of blood at the corner of his mouth. The power in his body was boiling. Because of the attack, a large amount of potential in his cells had seeped out and poured into his cultivation sea. Chapter 2880. The martial artists of Heavenly Pool Mountain don't seem to be that scary. Ling Xiao sneered. Stubborn. As soon as he finished speaking, Li Xiaotian sneered, and his body suddenly soared into the air. Ling Xiao only felt a chill. He couldn't even see his opponent's shadow. He was too fast. Stubborn or not, we'll know after we try. Although he couldn't see his opponent, Ling Xiao could feel his aura. He suddenly turned in a direction and slashed out with the Blood Thunder Emperor sword. The terrifying killing intent hit Li Xiaotian's sword. However, it couldn't block it completely. That sword still pierced through his body. It was so close to his heart that blood splattered everywhere. You have to pay the price for hurting me. As he spoke, Ling Xiao had already launched his attack. The sword suddenly shot out a bright sword light and pierced Li Xiaotian's abdomen. Blood splattered everywhere. The moment Li Xiaotian pierced his body, his speed naturally slowed down. This was the perfect opportunity for him to attack. The two separated again. Ling Xiao threw a blood spirit pill into his mouth. This level of injury naturally didn't require life backtrack. As long as the blood spirit pill worked with the life martial soul, he could quickly recover. It wasn't a fatal injury. Damn it! You piece of trash! How dare you hurt me? Li Xiaotian was about to explode. As an outstanding outer disciple of Heavenly Pool Mountain, he had the highest chance of being promoted to an inner disciple. The sect assigned him a task. As long as he could help the Chun Kingdom's royal family consolidate their rule, he could be promoted to an inner disciple. He thought that this was the best opportunity given to him by the heavens. He thought that it would be easy for him to clean up the trash. However, he didn't expect to be injured in the first battle. His anger was like a terrifying flame burning in his heart, wanting to burn him completely. He let out a terrifying roar and charged at Ling Xiao crazily. The sword light continued to bloom in the void. Every sword had the power to kill Ling Xiao. However, although Ling Xiao wasn't as good as Li Xiaotian, with the effect of Tai Chi, he could always avoid being hit. He even blocked Li Xiaotian's attack, even though he was already covered in wounds. Every injury caused the potential of his cells to erupt. The energy in his cultivation C was increasing at an extremely fast speed. At the same time, every time Li Xiaotian injured him, he would be injured. Although his injuries were more serious, he had the blood spirit pill and the life martial soul, while Li Xiaotian didn't. As long as this continued, he might be able to win. Origin. Suddenly, Li Xiaotian stopped his attack and roared. Then, a strange green light appeared on his body, and his wounds began to heal at an accelerated rate. What? Seeing this, Ling Xiao frowned. Originally, if Li Xiaotian was unable to heal, this battle of attrition would definitely be his strength. But now the situation had changed. This Li Xiaotian guy didn't seem to be someone easy to deal with. The experts of the Heavenly Pool Mountain were indeed extraordinary. Yuan Zhongfeng, that piece of trash, could not compare to them. Are you surprised? What will surprise you is yet to come. After the treatment, Li Xiaotian seemed to have calmed down. He stood in the air and looked at Ling Xiao. The sword in his hand gradually turned black. A terrifying, murderous aura bloomed from the sword. His attack power increased. Ling Xiao frowned. It seemed that he had underestimated Li Xiaotian. As a big sect that was above the Qin country, Li Xiaotian couldn't underestimate his opponent. Fortunately, although he underestimated Li Xiaotian, he didn't underestimate his opponent. He didn't want to kill Li Xiaotian in this battle. He just wanted to know his opponent's combat power. The more he knew, the better. At the same time, he wanted to use the battle to increase his cultivation. Although his cultivation hadn't broken through yet, the energy in his cultivation C had increased to 60%. He was only 40% away from breaking through. He was getting closer. He believed that no matter how powerful Li Xiaotian was, as long as he could break through to the Yinyang realm, the peak of the 12th level of hell, he would be able to defeat Li Xiaotian. There was no doubt about that. So powerful, but that's what I want. Ling Xiao put away the Blood Thunder Imperial Sword, and the Demon Dragon sword appeared in his hand. At the same time, the 9 Demon Dragon swords appeared. His aura rose once again at this moment. Li Xiaotian was deeply worried and uneasy. He felt that Ling Xiao still had terrifying potential. He had to kill him as soon as possible. Otherwise, it would be troublesome. Don't worry, it's not over yet. Ling Xiao smiled coldly. The purple lightning bull, lava, 3-headed hound, black eagle, and 9 snake generals appear behind him at the same time. At the same time, the sky tyrant martial spirit released the power of the heavenly dragon, godly phoenix, and white tiger. When this energy gathered together, Ling Xiao's strength once again skyrocketed. He felt that he was infinitely close to Li Xiaotian. Cold sweat appeared on Li Xiaotian's forehead. This kid, how did he hide such terrifying power? He's too strong. Experts of the Sky Pool Mountain, take my move. Ling Xiao didn't care if Li Xiaotian was shocked or not. Anyway, he had already started to gather his moves. It was still his most powerful move. True Demon Sword Qi, Demon Fairy Sword Shadow, kill. A terrifying murderous aura burst out from Ling Xiao's Demon Dragon swords. The 10 demonic dragon swords joined forces at the same time and attacked Li Xiaotian. The terrifying Demon Fairy Sword Shadow released a terrifying power that even Li Xiaotian, who was at the 13th level of hell in the Yinyang realm, felt. Oh no, I must dodge it. Li Xiaotian could feel the terrifying power of Ling Xiao's move. He knew that even he couldn't take it head-on. However, the speed of this move was too fast. Simply dodging it wasn't realistic. He looked at the ground. there were still more than 500 Qin country martial artists left. They became his focus. "Come and be my meat shield." Li Xiaotian sneered and opened his hands. With a sudden suction, the 500 Qin country martial artists flew up. Everyone's aura was directly extracted from their bodies, blocking Ling Xiao's incomparably terrifying sword. Boom! Boom! The terrifying sword essence formed a terrifying hurricane of slaughter in the void. The pitiful 500 Chen country martial artists were used as meat shields by Li Xiaotian. One by one, they died tragically under the terrifying sword light. Tuoba Yunxiang, Leah, and the female guard in the beast ring looked at this scene in shock. Too strong. Ling Xiao, this fellow, was simply ridiculously powerful. Facing the experts of the Sky Pool Mountain, he wasn't afraid at all. Was he still human? Leah, in particular, sighed incomparably. If her father was willing to listen to her and believe in Ling Xiao, Yuan Ling's outcome would be different. Chapter 2881. Ling Xiao, just you wait. A terrifying roar resounded above the ruins of the Yuanling tribe in the extreme Emperor's secret realm. Despite using a lot of meat shields, one of Li Xiaotian's arms was still crippled. When he was filled with anger and wanted to take revenge, he discovered that Ling Xiao had already disappeared. Ling Xiao naturally wouldn't sit still and wait for his death. That attack just now was an attack that contained almost all the internal energy in his body. He originally planned to run after attacking. After all, he was powerless to continue after the attack. It was a pity that such an attack only crippled one of Li Xiaotian's arms. That guy's origin restoration technique should be able to recover. Ling Xiao had also heard of the so-called origin restoration technique. It was a very advanced secret technique that could exchange internal energy and vitality. In other words, one could consume internal energy to recover from injuries. The more serious the injury, the more internal energy would be consumed. One could also consume vitality in exchange for internal energy. Although this secret technique wasn't as abnormal as Life Rewind, it could be used at any time. Ling Xiao felt that if he had the time, he would definitely get his hands on this thing. In case he didn't have any medicinal pills in reserve, it would be of great use. At this moment, he was already outside the Extreme Emperor's secret realm. After breaking the illusion array, the Extreme Emperor's secret realm had become his own backyard. He could leave at any time. After leaving the Extreme Emperor's secret realm, he made a trip to the 8 Immortal City. With his speed, it would only take him half an hour to go back and forth. He left Leah and his female guard there, while Tuoba Yunxiang insisted on following Ling Xiao. His cultivation wasn't weak. After transforming into a lava lion, his battle prowess was comparable to a demon beast at the peak of the 12th level of hell. He was only slightly weaker than Xiao Jin. Since he insisted on helping Ling Xiao wouldn't be polite. After returning to Thunder City, he would definitely encounter a lot of enemies. Moreover, 7th Prince Qin Kangming didn't have any experts by his side. One more person meant one more helping hand. Before returning to Thunder City, Ling Xiao returned to his middle-aged martial artist form and found 7th Prince Qin Kangming's group. Qin Kangming, on the other hand, was able to endure silently. During this period of time, he had indeed not shown himself. He had been hiding in the shadows under Xiao Jin's protection. "Sir." Seeing Ling Xiao return, Qin Kangming was overjoyed. He could sense a familiar aura from Ling Xiao, but he couldn't guess who it was. Ling Xiao didn't tell him either, because it wasn't time yet. "Now, you can return to Thunder City. I will help you ascend to the throne of the Chun Kingdom. However, don't forget your promise to me. If you can't do it when the time comes, don't blame me." Ling Xiao said coldly. "Don't worry, mister. If mister can love the people like his own children, I will naturally be willing to help. But if mister is as incompetent as the current royal family, then I, Chen Kangmeng will fight Mr. even if I have to die. Chen Kangmeng said, neither servile nor overbearing. That's good. Let's go. Since the two had the same goal, there was no need to say anything more. The group of a dozen people left once more, heading toward the Chen Kingdom's capital. This was different from the previous revenge. This time, Ling Xiao was much stronger than before. His goal was to destroy the Chen Kingdom's royal family so that his authority in the Heavenly Empire would extend to the entire Qin Kingdom. In addition, he guessed that the Chen Kingdom's royal family must have the remnant soul of the young god. This was something he had to obtain. In order to prevent being surrounded and losing the chance to obtain the remnant soul of the young god, Ling Xiao planned to disguise himself and follow Chen Kangmeng into Thunder City. This way, he would have a reason to do many things without being suspected. Chen Kangmeng wanted to avenge his mother. He wanted to investigate the cause of his mother's death. He wanted to reverse the verdict of the Ling clan. He wanted to fight for the throne. And all of these would make enemies. Ling Xiao could use these reasons to do what he wanted. The moment Chen Kangmeng's group stepped into Thunder City, they were targeted by various factions. Many people were very surprised that Chen Kangmeng was still alive. However, Chen Kangmeng had already entered Thunder City and the Royal City. It was not realistic to want to casually assassinate him, especially in broad daylight. For the sake of their dignity, the royal family would not let a prince casually die on the streets. Furthermore, Ling Xiao had slaughtered aristocratic cultivators before. The current defense of Thunder City was at least 10 times stronger than before. Even so, Chen Kangmeng did not stay for long and returned to his residence. "County King, you're back. This old servant has missed you." When the group arrived at the entrance of the king's residence, they saw an old man walk out. He had a hunched figure and was holding a broom in his hand, cleaning the place. Other people might not have taken a second look at this old man, but Ling Xiao could tell that this old man was not ordinary in an instant. He's actually a cultivator at the peak of the 12th level of hell. I didn't expect this. This royal city is indeed full of crouching tigers and hidden dragons. I was really lucky that nothing happened the last time I came here. It seems that at that time these true experts all looked down on me, which gave me an opportunity to take advantage of. Ling Xiao only glanced at the old man once before looking away. He tried his best to restrain his aura. "Ah, it's Uncle Fu." I didn't expect that after so many years and everyone else had left me, only you would still treat me like this. Chen Kangmeng was very happy to see this old man and suddenly felt a sense of security. Others might not know, but Chen Kangmeng was very clear that this old man was a very powerful person. When he was very young, this old man had been responsible for protecting him. Later on, when he was sent to guard the borders, this old man had been guarding his residence. This old servant was once saved by the princess. She was the one who entrusted you to this old servant, so I naturally did not dare to slack off. Uncle Fu said with his hunched body. Then he looked at Ling Xiao. It seemed that he knew everyone else, except for Ling Xiao's face, which was extremely unfamiliar. "Oh, Uncle Fu, don't worry. This is Tuoba Ling. He saved my life outside Thunder City," Chen Kangmeng hurriedly explained. "I see. Where is great hero Tuoba from?" Uncle Fu stared at Ling Xiao and asked. Chen Kangmeng immediately felt awkward. Uncle Fu's words were clearly suspicious of Ling Xiao's identity. "Old sir, you need to understand something. I'm not Chen Kangmeng's subordinate. I only have a deal with him. I don't need to tell you anything about myself, and you don't have the right to ask." Ling Xiao raised his eyebrows. He felt a deep sense of wariness towards this old man. Although this old man seemed to have a good relationship with Chen Kangmeng, Lin Fan still felt that something was off. Furthermore, the old man's attitude was not good, so Lin Fan would not treat him well. "Uncle Fu, Brother Tuoba, you are both my benefactors. How about giving me some face?" Chen Kangmeng was stuck in the middle and was in a difficult position. Chapter 2882. Haha, Your Highness, your words are too serious. This old servant has overstepped his boundaries. Uncle Fu chuckled. Ling Zhao's attitude wasn't as good. He coldly glanced at Uncle Fu and said, I have to repeat myself. I have a deal with Qin Kangming. If anyone dares to harm him, don't blame my sword for being merciless. He was implying something, but it made Fu Bo's eyes flash with a hint of viciousness. Qin Kangming was very confused. He didn't know what Ling Xiao was referring to. Fortunately, Uncle Fu didn't say anything else. Everyone entered the prince's mansion and entered the mansion. Qin Kangming anxiously looked at Uncle Fu and said, Uncle Fu, you've been in Thunder City for a long time. What happened in the city recently? This question was also what Ling Xiao wanted to know. He had been away from Thunder City for nearly 2 months. He really didn't know much about what had happened in Thunder City during these 2 months. The demon dragon envoys who were undercover in Thunder City were basically sold out by the traitor Phoenix in the cloud. Some were killed and some surrendered. It could be said that all of them were wiped out. This was also why the dragon cult hadn't received any news before Demon Dragon City was captured. There are 4 important things. First, 3 peak experts came to Heavenly Pool Mountain. The 14th prince, Qin Songxiong, has gone to Heavenly Pool Mountain to receive special training and will be gone for about a month. Second, Chun Kanglin of Ji-Hyun of Silla has returned. He didn't die, and his strength has increased greatly. However, the woman who was always by his side has disappeared. Third, the Thunder Emperor stepped into the Emperor's forbidden land. Only the kings of the Qin nation are qualified to enter that place. Before entering, he passed the throne to the 14th prince. Fourth, all the experts in the forbidden land of the Extreme Emperor's secret realm were slaughtered. Even someone as strong as Elder Hua was killed. Rumor has it that it was done by Ling Xiao. Each of these 4 events was earth-shattering. However, Ling Xiao was more concerned about the first 3 matters, while Chen Kangming was more concerned about the last matter. Qin Songxiong had gone to Heavenly Pool Mountain for special training. With Heavenly Pool Mountain's ability, it was not difficult for Chen Songxiong, who had already reached the peak of the 12th level of Hell, to break through. Perhaps he was facing an even more terrifying opponent. When the Thunder Emperor entered the forbidden land of the Emperor, even though he was in a situation where he had a slim chance of survival, once he came out, his strength would definitely increase tremendously. It was obvious that Ling Xiao had forced them into a corner. Otherwise, given the Thunder Emperor's character, he would definitely not take such a risk. What shocked Ling Xiao the most was the fact that Ji-Hyun of Silla, Qin Kanglin, had returned alive. Speaking of which, when Ling Xiao killed Qin Kanglin from Ji-Hyun of Silla in the 8 Immortals County, Hong Minor took Qin Kanglin's body away. But now Hong Min was gone and Qin Kanglin had returned. What exactly happened between them? No matter what, Qin Kanglin, whose strength had increased tremendously, would not let Ling Xiao go. In that case, Su Mo would take the initiative. He wanted to see what was going on with Qin Kanglin, who had come back from the dead. Meanwhile, Qin Kangming, who was at the side, was thinking about Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao was able to kill Elder Hua. It seemed that his strength had increased tremendously. How was he now? Both of them were thinking about their own matters. Suddenly, a voice came from outside the door. The decree has arrived. The voice was sharp and high-pitched. It should be the palace eunuch who was delivering the decree. However, Qin Songxiong and the Thunder Emperor were not in the capital city. Who was delivering the decree? Although everyone in the mansion had doubts, they still went out to welcome the eunuch. Commander Prince Jean, please accept the decree. It is a decree from the 3 old ancestors. The eunuch said with a smile, I accept the decree. Qin Kangming and the others knelt on the ground. However, Ling Xiao was still standing there. There was no way he would kneel to the Qin nation's royal family. However, the eunuch did not seem to care. He finished reading the decree. In fact, he wanted Chen Kangmeng to quickly enter the palace to discuss important matters. He did not say what the matter was. Then he placed the decree in Chen Kangmeng's hands and turned to leave. I'm afraid it's nothing good. Ling Xiao watched the eunuch leave and said calmly, he saw me standing there and did not reprimand me. Clearly, he wants to leave as soon as possible after delivering the decree. Or perhaps he thinks we are doomed. Teacher, what do you think we should do? Chen Kangmeng asked. Of course we should go. Everything is just speculation. Even if the palace is a tiger's den, we have to go. If we go, it will be reasonable. If we don't go, we will be disobeying the decree. Others will have a reason to kill us. Ling Xiao said so much because he sincerely wanted to help Chen Kangmeng. However, he also wanted to take a look at the Chun nation's palace. If there was a chance, it would be best if he could obtain the young god's remnant soul. Even if he could not, he could figure out its location. All right, Uncle Fu, brother to Oba, come with me to the palace. Chen Kangmeng now trusted many people. However, the only experts he could bring out were Ling Xiao and Uncle Fu. If the others followed, they would just be sending themselves to their deaths if something really happened. There would be no point in it. Before going to the palace, no one could have imagined that this gathering would be a turning point that would change the Qin nation's situation. Even the Heavenly Pool Mountain cultivators who controlled the Qin nation's 3 seniors from behind the scenes, trying to control the Qin nation, would never have imagined that one Ling Xiao could change the outcome of this Hongmen banquet. By the time Ling Xiao, Chen Kangmeng, and Uncle Fu arrived at the palace, it was already evening. The person sitting on the throne in the palace was not Chen Songxiong or the Thunder Emperor, but Jihyun of Silla, Chen Kanglin. Chen Kanglin's appearance was somewhat strange. His eyes seemed to have lost their luster, giving off a merciless and cold aura. They also seemed dead, devoid of any luster of life. However, no one dared to underestimate him. This was because his body gave off a horrifying aura that made one despair. Sitting on either side of Chen Kanglin were the Chun nation's 3 remaining elders, Elder Tsang, Elder Jian, and Elder Feng. There were also the 3 experts from Heavenly Pool Mountain. Ling Xiao did not recognize the other 2. However, he recognized Li Xiaotian. This Li Xiaotian seemed to be the strongest of the 3. With this, Ling Xiao relaxed. If the other 2 were stronger than Li Xiaotian, things would not be good. Aside from the dead Qin Songxiong and Chen Kanglin, all the princes were seated below. When they looked at Chen Kanglin, they were all trembling with fear and uneasiness. These people all had their own guards and experts beside them. However, under the pressure of Chen Kanglin's horrifying aura, none of them could raise their heads. 7th brother, you're here. Come, take a seat. Chen Kanglin smiled faintly when he saw Chen Kangmeng. 2nd brother, you're really not dead. Chapter 2883. I'm lucky. I won't die. All right, since you're here, I'll get straight to the point. I want you to support me to become the king of the Qin nation. King Jixian, Chen Kanglin's eyes flashed with a strange light as he said with a smile. Everyone had different expressions when they heard that. It was obvious that the 3 elders of the Qin nation and the 3 experts from Tianqi Mountain had been subdued by Chen Kanglin of Jihyun of Silla. Among the remaining princes, only the 4th prince and the 7th prince, Chen Kangmeng, had ugly expressions. The others walked to the center and knelt before Chen Kanglin to declare their allegiance. 4th prince, 7th prince, are you not willing to support me? Chen Kanglin's expression was ugly. 2nd brother, it's a good thing that you've come back from the dead. However, before entering the imperial forbidden land, father had already passed the throne to 14th brother. I'm afraid it's inappropriate for you to do this. The 4th prince was also a martial artist. He didn't know much about politics and didn't lean towards any of the princes. He only listened to the Thunder Emperor. Since the Thunder Emperor had passed the throne to Qin Songxiong, He only recognized Qin Songxiong as the king. Humph. What does Qin Songxiong have to do this? In the past, he was only stronger than me. Whether it's governing or strategizing, he's not as good as me. Now, I'm already stronger than him. What right does he have to compete with me? Qin Kanglin snorted. I don't care. Anyway, father's words are imperial edicts. I have to listen to them. You're not justified in seizing the throne like this. You say you're stronger than 14th brother? I think it's a joke. The one beside me is the general of the Divine Thunder Guards, Yan Liang. His cultivation isn't high. He's only at the peak of the 12th level of hell. If you can defeat him, I'll support you. The fourth prince sneered. In his opinion, no matter how hard Ji-hyun of Silla worked, it had only been a few months since the news of his death spread. How could his cultivation improve by leaps and bounds? He wanted Yan Liang to defeat Ji-hyun of Silla in front of everyone. This way, Ji-hyun of Silla would not have the face to ask for the throne. That's what you said. If you go back on your words, don't blame me for being ruthless. Chun Kanglin's lustrous eyes suddenly flashed with a strange light. A real man keeps his word. It seemed like the fourth prince trusted General Yan Liang a lot. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so confident. Your Highness Ji-hyun of Silla, I'm sorry to offend you. Yan Liang walked out of his seat and steadied himself in a horse stance. A terrifying aura erupted from his body. In Ling Zhao's opinion, this guy was even stronger than Phoenix in the cloud. Kill! With a roar, Yan Liang rushed forward. However, when he was about 10 meters away from Ji-hyun of Silla, he suddenly fell to the ground, foaming at the mouth and losing consciousness. Others didn't know how Qin Kanglin did it. However, Ling Zhao saw it clearly. Soul technique. It was the secret soul technique. Could it be that this fellow had obtained something from Hong Minor? Or, he didn't know why, but he could always sense Hong Min-er's aura from Ji-hyun of Silla. Back then, in order to take away Ji-hyun of Silla's body, the girl didn't hesitate to take a hit from Ling Zhao. Now that Ji-hyun of Silla was resurrected, he shouldn't treat her badly. What the hell happened? The fourth prince looked at the unconscious Yan Liang in horror. That was his most courageous general. How could he be defeated just like that? He didn't even know what had happened. Fourth brother, how are you now? Chen Kanglin looked at the fourth prince and asked with a faint smile, Since Yan Liang lost to you, I can only let you down. If you want to be the king, I have no objections. Prince Roland let out a long sigh and returned to his seat, where he began to drink to drown his sorrows. Ji-hyun of Silla ignored him as long as he didn't object. Then, Ji-hyun of Silla looked at Chun Kangmeng and asked, What about you, seventh brother? Do you support 14th brother as well? No. Second brother, although you are good at strategizing, you are too gloomy. You are not suitable to be the king. You are too similar to father. As for 14th brother, he doesn't know how to rule a country. He is just an executioner who likes to kill. Therefore, both of you are not qualified. The one to ascend to the throne must be me, Chen Kangmeng. Chen Kangmeng looked at Yan Liang and was a little afraid. The only thing he could rely on now was the War Eagle army, Ling Zhao, who called himself Toba Ling and Uncle Fu. As soon as he said that, the entire hall fell silent. Uft! Ha ha ha! After a while, it was unknown who started it, but everyone began to roar with laughter. Stop joking, seventh brother. You are just a commandery prince. You are not qualified to inherit the throne. That's right, seventh brother. In terms of strength, you are not as good as 14th brother. In terms of strategizing, you're not as good as second brother. What right do you have? Because I want to be a good king. Chen Kangmeng said in a tone that was neither servile nor overbearing. He was not afraid of being laughed at because that was what he thought. He was used to seeing the royal family fighting each other and the people being displaced. He really hoped that this country could settle down and change. He did not want to be as heartless as he was now. All right, seventh brother. Stop joking. It is fine if you don't support me. I just hope that you don't object. Ji-hyun of Silla Chin Kanglin felt that Chen Kangmang's words were a joke. Second brother, I am not joking. You can use your strength to make the 3 elders submit. You can even take in the 3 experts of Tianchi Mountain. I can do it too. 7th Prince Chan Kangmang said righteously. He did not back down in the face of Chin Kanglin's terrifying strength. Every time he wanted to admit defeat, there was a strong force in his heart that supported him to continue speaking. He did not know where this force came from, but it made him feel at ease. You? Chen Kanglin was a little angry. He did not expect 7th brother to be so unreasonable. Not only him, but also me. Ling Xiao stood in front of Chen Kangmang and blocked Chen Kanglin's terrifying, murderous aura for him. Who are you? Chen Kanglin frowned and asked. I am the one who assists the Sage King. Ling Xiao said indifferently. This guy is only at the late stage of the 12th floor of Hell in Yinyang Realm. He is really boasting. Your Highness Ji-hyun of Silla, you don't have to do it yourself. Any one of us can easily kill him. Elder Feng looked coldly at Ling Xiao. Originally, he thought that this gathering would end very smoothly. Who would have thought that such an idiot would suddenly appear? So what if he is at the late stage of the 12th floor of Hell? It is enough to kill an old man like you. Ling Xiao put his hands behind his back and looked at Elder Feng with a faint smile. He shouted sternly, Old man, the 5 of you are controlling the government, causing chaos in the country, killing the innocent and framing the loyal. Today, you are colluding with this traitor. I am here to destroy you. Tuobaling, you are crazy. When Uncle Fu heard Ling Xiao's words, his face turned pale. Chapter 2884. I, Tuobaling, don't have much cultivation, but it's enough to kill you old dogs. Ling Xiao stood in front of Chen Kangmang as he spoke in a cold voice. In that instant, the air in the hall seemed to freeze. The atmosphere turned heavy. Uncle Fu was so frightened that his expression changed as he reprimanded Ling Xiao. However, Chen Kangmang stopped him. Tuoba Ling's intentions are this king's intentions. Uncle Fu, just stand to the side. Chen Kangmang did not know how strong Ling Xiao was, but for some reason he had a special trust in this unfamiliar yet familiar middle-aged cultivator. Of course, he was taking a gamble. Rather than letting the throne fall into the hands of Ji-hyun of Silla or Chin Kanglin, he might as well bet on a clear sky. On Chen Kanglin's side, everyone had unsightly expressions. On the surface, Ling Xiao's cultivation seemed to be at the late stage of the 12th layer of Hell. In reality, this was the case. With such a cultivation, he was actually so arrogant. Any one of the Qin nation's 3 elders could easily kill him. Since that is the case, this old man wants to see what kind of ability you have to be so arrogant in the royal palace. Senior Feng stood up, revealing his sharpness. A terrifying killing intent pressed down on Ling Xiao and the other 2. Uncle Fu felt his body tremble slightly, but Chen Kangmang discovered that a wall seemed to have appeared in front of him, blocking that terrifying killing intent. He stood there and did not feel any danger. Is it Senior Feng? Old dog, you finally can't hold back anymore? Chen Kanglin and Chen Kangmang are both princes of the Qin nation, but you favor one over the other. It's only because you fear Chen Kanglin's strength. Today, I, Tuobaling, will show you what true strength is. Ling Xiao looked straight at Senior Feng, not showing any fear. He had come to the Thunder City for revenge, to completely destroy the Chen nation's royal family and obtain the remnant soul of the young god. Since he could use 7th Prince Chen Kangmang as a platform to kill the Chen nation's 3 elders, it would naturally be for the best. Brat, if you weren't invited by Little 7, I would kill you right now. Elder Feng said coldly, You're so young, yet you don't know how to respect your elders. Since you want to compete with this old man, why don't we make a bet? What do you want to bet? Ling Xiao asked Elder Feng. Even if Elder Feng hadn't made this request, he would have done it anyway. Letting the other party bring it up now would be more beneficial to his plan. Simple. Elder Feng sneered and said, "If I lose, I'll forgive you for your disrespect toward me. If you lose, Little Seven must support Jihyun of Silla to ascend the throne. What do you think?" Ling Xiao sneered contemptuously. He looked at Elder Feng and said, "You old dog, you only know how to plot against others behind their backs. You don't care about the lives of the people. What qualifications do you have to compare yourself with the seventh prince? You want to absolve me of my sin of disrespect? What a joke! Do you have the qualifications to do so?" Without waiting for Elder Feng to refute, Ling Xiao continued, "Moreover, how can the throne be casually used as a bet? This is related to the lives of the people of the world. You can treat the people of the world as ants, but the seventh prince won't." Of course, these words were just an excuse for Ling Xiao. He wasn't that great. He just wanted to propose his bet. "Elder Feng, if you really want to bet, then we'll bet our lives. This battle doesn't need to be a spar. It can be a battle of life and death. No matter who kills who. You can't find trouble with the other party after this." Ling Xiao suddenly threw up a round crystal ball and wrapped it with his boundary martial spirit. "Everything that happens here can be seen by everyone in the Qin country. If you go back on your word after agreeing, I'm sure you know what the consequences will be." Ling Xiao pointed at the crystal ball and said, "This is a treasure that can transmit images to the depths of everyone's heart. Although it can only be used once, it's enough for today." Ling Xiao's words were not only tyrannical, they were also filled with killing intent. At the same time, it also revealed his determination this time. "Do you dare to bet?" "Old man." Ling Xiao still had his hands behind his back as he coldly looked at Elder Feng. There was a mocking smile between his brows. His words were like a clap of thunder that struck everyone's hearts. At almost the same time, the entire Qin country's people received the same signal. As long as they closed their eyes, they could see everything that happened in the hall. Who is this guy? How can he be so arrogant and tyrannical? Does he really have the confidence to bet life and death with Elder Feng? However, they didn't know that 2 of the 5 elders of the Qin country had already died because of Ling Xiao. As for the remaining 3, other than Elder Tsang, who was ranked first, as for the other 2, Ling Xiao didn't care about them at all. Elder Feng was only slightly stronger than Elder Hua. Ling Xiao's current strength was even stronger than when he killed Elder Hua. Killing him was a piece of cake. As for Elder Jian, he was even stronger. However, Ling Xiao was confident that he could increase his strength in battle. Even if he didn't increase his strength, as long as he used a few trump cards, it wouldn't be difficult to kill Elder Jian. "Crazy, he's really crazy. Your Highness, you can't mess around with this madman." Uncle Fu tried his best to persuade Chen Kangmeng. However, Chen Kangmeng remained unmoved. "Uncle Fu, I believe in him. Can you believe in me?" Chen Kangmeng knew how powerful Elder Feng was. He was betting that Ling Xiao was more terrifying than Elder Feng. The faces of Qin Kanglin's group turned even uglier. They stared coldly at Ling Xiao. Although they didn't know if this guy who called himself Toba Ling was his real name, he actually wanted to fight Elder Feng to the death. He really thought too highly of himself. Elder Feng's expression became even more ferocious. He was a top expert at the peak of the 12th level of the Yin-Yang realm. Elder Feng was ranked 3rd among the 5 elders of the Qin country. To think that a junior dared to provoke him like this. The experts of the Qin country could be counted with one's fingers. Elder Feng did not believe that this Ling Xiao could kill him when his cultivation was lower than his. Elder Feng knew that super geniuses had the ability to challenge those of a higher cultivation level. However, this Toba Ling before him did not look like a super genius at all. He was just an arrogant, middle-aged cultivator. Thinking of this, Elder Feng's eyes flashed with determination. You want to fight to the death, right? Good. This old man will fulfill your wish. Originally, I was worried that I would be mocked if I killed you here. However, since you made this bet with your life, this old man will go with the flow. Your Highness Ji-hyun of Silla, this brat is too arrogant. If this old man does not fight with him, it will be a disgrace to the royal clan. Elder Feng looked at Chun Kanglin. I agree to the bet. Chun Kanglin's lips curled up in a strange smile. He was very interested in this middle-aged cultivator called Tuo Baling. He did not know if this fellow was a true idiot or had other motives. Chapter 2885. Many thanks to Her Highness Ji-hyun of Silla for granting my wish. After receiving permission, Elder Feng walked down from a seat and stood at the bottom of the stairs. He said, this place is too small. Let's fight outside. No problem. Ling Xiao nodded and led Chun Kanglin outside. Fu Bo hesitated for a moment before walking out as well. Regardless of what the other people were thinking, they all walked out of the hall and arrived at the battle arena in the palace. With the protection of the array, even an extremely powerful attack would not be able to destroy the entire Thunder Palace. It was the best place to fight. Kid, this old man admires your courage. However, your ignorance will cause you to lose your pitiful life. Standing on the battle arena, Elder Feng stared coldly at Ling Xiao. His eyes were like two sharp blades stabbing at Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao looked at Elder Feng and could not help but grin. Since you're about to die, I'll let you speak a few more words. Once you're done, we'll fight. Who is that middle-aged man? Does he want to die? He actually dares to provoke Elder Feng? At this moment, countless people were paying attention to this battle. Ling Xiao used a special Dharma treasure to transmit the scene here into their minds. No matter where they were, they could clearly see it, except for those who were in seclusion. Yes, I heard that the 7th prince invited a helper. To be honest, I really hope that the 7th prince can win the throne. Unfortunately, this middle-aged man is too reckless. He will cause the 7th prince's death. He's hopeless. Such an idiot will cause everyone's death sooner or later. Can he fight against the 5 elders of the Chen kingdom? Everyone was discussing. However, no one believed that Ling Xiao could defeat Elder Feng. It was no wonder. The name Tuo Baling was too ordinary. As for this person, he was too unknown. Almost no one had heard of him. Even if they had heard of his name, they would not be able to match his face with his name. Elder Jian stood outside the battle arena and looked at Ling Xiao with contempt. He said, Kid, don't find excuses. Don't tell me that you're afraid because you proposed a life and death battle with Elder Feng? Could it be that he was just bluffing and boasting shamelessly? Ling Xiao turned his head and glanced at the Sword Elder. Suddenly, his face bloomed with an indifferent smile and said, You don't have to worry. After killing him, the next one will be you. I hope you won't refuse my challenge. Of course. Don't be so scared that you pee in your pants. Damn it. Thoid brother, remember this. Teach this guy a lesson for me. Beat him up so badly that even his own mother won't recognize him. Sword Elder was infuriated. Although he couldn't go on stage, he could still let Elder Feng teach Ling Xiao a lesson and then torture him to death. Hee, don't worry, second brother. I'll definitely let him know the consequences of disrespecting us. It's too late to regret now. Yes, it's too late for regrets. But it's not me, it's you. Suddenly, Ling Xiao stepped onto the stage, and a terrifying aura erupted from his body. It raged wildly in the air and then turned into a terrifying sword that shot towards Elder Feng. Oh, no wonder you're so arrogant. Sensing Ling Xiao's powerful sword intent, Elder Feng smiled confidently. Your cultivation is indeed at the late stage of the 12th level of hell, but your aura is stronger than that of an ordinary cultivator at the late stage of the 12th level of hell. But if you think you can defeat me like this, you'll definitely regret it. because you don't know how terrifying I am." After saying this, Elder Feng's aura rose again, and a crazy and explosive aura soared into the sky. A terrifying chi mass formed around his body. It could be seen with the naked eye. At this moment, the power of the peak of the 12th level of hell was being released. Elder Feng's face was filled with arrogance and disdain. "You're only SOO." Ling Xiao sneered and took a step forward with his right foot. An even more terrifying aura surged out from his body, then it merged with the previous aura and pounced towards Elder Feng. At the same time in the Tyrant universe, the Sun God constellation began to shine. Ling Xiao activated the Sun, Divine Beast Soul. In today's battle, he could not expose his identity as Ling Xiao. Otherwise, he would definitely be attacked by the crowd. Secondly, he could not easily expose his identity as a martial artist before the first level of hell. Therefore, he could use his previous martial arts, but he had to use them perfectly so that no one would notice. However, this was not a problem for Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao still had a trump card that he had not used easily. That was the Seal of Eternity. Although he had not used the Seal of Eternity, its power was constantly increasing. He had only used the Seal of Eternal Life in Yuhua Town and the 8 Immortals County. Moreover, he had created and derived it himself. Even if the people from the Immortal Palace saw it, they might not be able to recognize it. Today, he could use the Seal of Eternity to defeat his opponent. The Sun Divine Beast Soul was activated, but it did not appear. It only gave Ling Xiao greater combat power. That was why his aura had become so powerful. His aura now gave off the feeling of an expert at the peak of the 12th level of hell, which made people sigh with emotion. Who on earth is this guy? Why have I never heard of such a powerful person? At this moment, even Chen Kanglin, who was an enemy, frowned. Ling Xiao's strength had really surprised him. This had already threatened his plan. "It seems that I have really underestimated you. Your strength is probably infinitely close to the peak of the 12th level of hell. However, it's a pity that you are only one level away. Your only ending is death." Elder Feng sneered. He took a step forward and a huge ring condensed in his hand. The ring kept on spinning and flashing, emitting a terrifying power of the wind element. It was as if it could cut everything in the world into two. "Hee hee. This strength is more than enough to kill you," Ling Xiao sneered. Suddenly, a 3-pointed, double-edged sword appeared in his hand. "Seal of Eternity, True Lord Erling Yangjian, 3-pointed, double-edged sword." As the strange weapon was condensed in his hand, a power that was completely different from this dimension was released from Ling Xiao's body. The terrifying fighting spirit was actually filled with invincibility. It was as if it could destroy everything. Kaboom! Ling Xiao took another step forward, and there was actually terrifying lightning flickering around his body. Heaven and earth seemed to be shaking because of this. Everyone's heart twitched violently at this moment. What a terrifying fighting spirit! What a terrifying energy! What a strange aura! After Ling Xiao took a step forward, although there were no changes to his body, the terrifying lightning continued to flash. It was a crazy roar. The murderous aura surged toward everyone like a crazy tide. It made everyone feel the fear of death in their hearts. At this moment, Ling Xiao seemed to have turned into a god of war who was indomitable and powerful. Chapter 2886. A gale roared behind him. This was Elder Feng's martial soul. A natural-type martial soul could give a cultivator an extremely powerful attack. However, Elder Feng was not relaxed at all. Even though he had summoned his hurricane martial soul, he could still feel the terrifying killing intent coming from Ling Xiao's 3-pointed, double-edged sword. That aura suppressed him to the point that he could not move. Fear spread in his heart like the night sky gradually covering the entire sky. How can this guy be so terrifying? Bean-sized beads of sweat dripped down from Elder Feng's forehead. Even though his hurricane martial soul had condensed a powerful defensive storm in front of him, it did not give him any protection. However, this did not give him the slightest sense of security. His body was still trembling. Every cell in his body was filled with fear. Ling Xiao did not seem like a cultivator at the Yin-Yang realm's 12th level of hell. That aura had already surpassed his. He even had the illusion that he had been cut in half by the three-pointed, double-edged sword. Admit defeat. This voice suddenly appeared in Elder Feng's heart. He opened his mouth, wanting to shout it out. However, the three-pointed, double-edged sword had already slashed through the air. The divine weapon was like a ray of death that could take one's life. Not good. Elder Tsang and Elder Jian stood up at the same time, wanting to stop what was happening in the arena. However, their movements were still too slow. The light of death that was strong enough to split the sky blasted the roaring storm shield away. The wind dispersed. The martial arts arena was completely silent. Pa! Elder Feng's body was cut in half. The two halves fell to the ground at the same time. Shocking! Incomparably shocking! The blood on the two halves of his body seemed to have been burned dry. Only 2 pieces of charred flesh were left. That scene was so unbelievable. Old man, I won't hesitate to take your life. Ling Xiao's voice sounded in the arena. Then the three-pointed, double-edged sword in his hand disappeared. Ling Xiao stood there and looked at Elder Tsang and Elder Jian mockingly. This is the strength of Elder Feng, who is ranked 3rd among the 5 elders of the state of Qin. I think it's just SOO. Sarcasm, sarcasm. However, no matter what Ling Xiao said, he said it with confidence. That was because he had defeated Elder Feng with only 1 move. No one had expected such an outcome. The 7th prince, Chun Kangming, who trusted him, did not expect this. Chun Kanglin, who was hostile to Jihyun of Silla, did not expect this. Such an outcome was too unexpected. The strength of this guy, who called himself Tuoba Ling, had already reached such a terrifying level. He only needed 1 move to kill Elder Feng, who was at the peak of the 12th level of the Yin-Yang realm, with 30% of his energy. Everyone knew that this was not Ling Xiao's full strength. After all, the calmness that Ling Xiao displayed after killing Elder Feng was enough to prove it. Chun Kanglin. Chun Kanglin's shock was shocked Elder Jian and Elder Jian's. Elder Jian's of Silla of Sillas, of Silla of Silla, of Silla, of Silla Illa, of Silla. The state of Qin of the state, of S the final trump card. However, ever since they started participating in external affairs, they were killed one after another. Elder Kong had died in Frosty Town. Elder Hu died in an untouchable place. Today, even Elder Feng had died in the palace. What was going on? Could it be that the strength of the 5 elders of the state of Qin was really so weak? Even they themselves began to doubt their own strength. However, this guy who called himself Tuoba Ling actually dared to kill Old Feng. Furthermore, he did it in the palace. Was there something wrong with this guy's head? Killing Elder Feng was equivalent to becoming an enemy of the entire Qin kingdom's royal family. Elder Tsang and Sword Elder did not understand what Ling Xiao was thinking. Chun Kanglin did not understand either. The 3 masters from the Heavenly Pool Mountain didn't understand either. Unless this Tuoba Ling had the strength to go against all the experts of the Chun kingdom's royal family, doing so was simply courting death. Old 7, it was just a sparring match. How dare your subordinate kill Old Feng? Elder Feng is the pillar of the state of Qin, the most reliable backer of the state of Qin's royal family. Shouldn't you give me an explanation for killing him? Chun Kanglin looked coldly at Chun Kangming and asked, Your Highness Jihyun of Silla, the 7th prince definitely did not have the intention to kill Elder Feng. It was all Tuoba Ling's fault. How despicable! Uncle Fu felt Chun Kanglin's killing intent. He knelt on the ground in fear and said loudly, Uncle Fu, you weren't like this before. You don't have to kneel before him. You are my man. Chun Kangmeng frowned and said, moreover, it was Elder Feng who proposed a fight with Tuobaling. He also agreed to a life and death duel. He said that after death, they would not pursue the matter. The entire nation is watching. I believe that Jihyun of Silla won't be a sore loser, right? Uncle Fu froze. He didn't know if he should stand up or kneel down. He was very conflicted. He was originally a spy that Jihyun of Silla, Chen Kanglin, had planted beside the seventh prince, Chun Kangmeng. Ever since Jihyun of Silla died, Uncle Fu had thought that he had been abandoned and was prepared to completely rely on the seventh prince. However, news of Jihyun of Silla's revival came. He immediately contacted Jihyun of Silla. Jihyun of Silla's intentions were clear. Stay beside the seventh prince, Chun Kangmeng, and wait for an opportunity to act. If Chun Kangmeng was stubborn, he would kill him. The moment he raised his head, he saw Chun Kanglin's eyes. Chun Kanglin was clearly hinting at him to act. Uncle Fu gritted his teeth and stood up. He then walked behind Chun Kangmeng. A ruthless look flashed across his eyes. That's right, as long as he killed Chun Kangmeng. So what if Tuobaling was powerful? After losing his partner, Tuobaling would either have to escape or rely on His Highness Jihyun of Silla. It was killing two birds with one stone. Die. Uncle Fu suddenly launched an attack. The cold, sharp blade in his hand pierced toward the seventh prince's back. This blade was absolutely steady, accurate, and ruthless. It was the most powerful attack he had ever unleashed in his life. By the time Chun Kangmeng realized it, it was already too late. The blade was only 3 inches away from him. He did not even have the chance to dodge. Upon seeing this, a cold grin appeared on Chun Kanglin's face. He had succeeded. As long as Chun Kangmeng was dead, no one would stop him from ascending the throne. No one would know that Uncle Fu was one of his men. He only needed to silence him after the deed was done. However, his smile suddenly froze in the next moment. Even the 3 experts from Tianchi Mountain only saw a flash of golden light behind Chun Kangmeng's back. Then, Uncle Fu's hands were cut off. His body was slammed heavily onto the ground. He knelt behind Chun Kangmeng. Horror, shock, incomprehensible. This was Uncle Fu's current expression. Uncle Fu, why? Chapter 2887. There's no need to ask him. I already know the answer to this question. On the stage, Ling Xiao looked coldly at Jihyun of Silla and said, that so-called Uncle Fu is just a chess piece that His Highness Jihyun of Silla placed beside you. This chess piece is meant to help him fight for the throne at the most crucial moment. Originally, Jihyun of Silla wanted your War Eagle army to deal with Chen Sangxiong's Eagle army. But today he changed his mind and ordered Uncle Fu to kill you. What a load of nonsense. Jihyun of Silla slammed his chair and stood up. He activated his terrifying soul technique again, attempting to kill Ling Xiao on the spot. Of all the people present, any one of them could die from his soul technique, except for Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's soul power was stronger than Jihyun of Silla's. A trace of blood leaked out from the corner of Jihyun of Silla's mouth. His attack had failed and he had injured himself. However, he did not show it. He wiped away the blood at the corner of his mouth. He knew that he was in trouble today. It seemed that he could only rely on the remaining 2 elders from the Qin Kingdom and the 3 experts from the Heavenly Pool Mountain to deal with this person who called himself Tuobaling. I see. Although you weren't a good person in the past, you were still a virtuous king. But I never expected that Hong Minor would sacrifice her lifespan to save you. Not only did you kill her, but you also stole her soul tablet, infiltrated her clan, and stole their soul technique manual. You're shameless to this extent. The moment their souls touched, Ling Xiao finally knew the secret behind Jihyun of Silla's revival. Hong Minor had sacrificed her lifespan to revive Jihyun of Silla. Unfortunately, that infatuated woman had died in the hands of her beloved man. She had even harmed her own clan. After Ji-hyun of Silla gained the trust of Hong Minor's clan, he cultivated the Soul Clan's forbidden technique and turned the entire clan into hell overnight. Everyone's soul power and life force were absorbed by him. He became a powerful soul technique expert and had a lifespan of over 1,000 years. After knowing this, in Ling Zhao's eyes, Ji-hyun of Silla and Qin Kanglin had become people he had to kill. He had no sympathy for Hong Minor. Hong Minor was to blame for everything. However, this did not mean that Qin Kanglin could erase his scumbag behavior. Ling Zhao didn't want to kill him, but he didn't want it to kill him to kill Ji-hyun of Silla to kill him, to say he was an enemy. Since he had the chance, he had to kill this guy. In any case, sooner or later, they would have to meet on the battlefield. Just like that time, Qin Kanglin actually used a soul technique to try and kill him. If he still sympathized with this guy, wouldn't it be ridiculous? He lifted his foot and walked towards Qin Kanglin. Every step he took tugged at everyone's heartstrings. Every time he walked, it was like a heavy hammer hitting the ground, but it was also like hitting the hearts of these people. What was Ling Zhao trying to do? Everyone who was paying attention to this incident was curious. Why was Ling Zhao walking towards Qin Kanglin? Soon they would know the answer. Ling Zhao walked in front of Qin Kanglin. He floated in the air and looked down at Qin Kanglin like an emperor. The terrifying pressure made Qin Kanglin unable to move at all. Qin Kanglin's strength had become stronger, but it was only because of his soul technique. Ling Zhao's powerful soul power was Qin Kanglin's nemesis. Qin Kanglin was still as weak as before. No, he might be even weaker than before. Ling Zhao's strength had become stronger, but Qin Kanglin hadn't. Qin Kanglin couldn't bear to lower his head in front of Ling Zhao. He raised his head and looked at Ling Zhao. His eyes were filled with anger and hatred. Of course, there was also a hint of fear. He couldn't help it. This person who called himself Tuoba Ling was too terrifying. Ji-hyun of Silla, Qin Kanglin. Ling Zhao's lips curled into a sarcastic smile. In the air, he suddenly unleashed a terrifying aura. Crack! The throne that Qin Kanglin was sitting on instantly shattered. This scene caused everyone's hearts to tighten. They couldn't understand where Qin Kangming found such a reckless person. Although he killed Elder Feng, Elder Feng was weaker than Elder Jian and Elder Tsang. Compared to the 3 experts of Heavenly Pool Mountain, he couldn't be compared at all. Qin Kanglin was able to suppress the 3 elders of Qin Country and the 3 experts of Heavenly Pool Mountain. He shouldn't be weak. However, Ling Zhao dared to face Qin Kanglin directly. Was he tired of living? However, some people thought that Ling Zhao's actions were the actions of a domineering king. He had successfully used his own strength to trample on Qin Kanglin's dignity as Ji-hyun of Silla. Qin Kanglin stared at Ling Zhao. His eyes were filled with a terrifying killing intent. However, there was a lack of confidence in this killing intent. He killed Hong Minor and obtained all the soul power and life force of a small family of the Soul Clan that Hong Minor belonged to. He also cultivated a soul technique manual. He thought that he was qualified to be the king of the Qin country. In fact, before this person called Tuoba Ling appeared, things had indeed developed like this. However, because of this person's appearance, the situation had greatly changed. In front of this person, he couldn't resist at all. Right now, he was definitely no match for this fellow in front of him. Qin Kanglin of Ji-hyun of Silla started to regret. In the past, he had the opportunity to join forces with Ling Zhao to take over the Qin country. Even if Ling Zhao didn't like some of his actions, he wouldn't stop him. At the very least, he wouldn't kill him. However, he didn't know if he was blinded by lard, but he actually wanted to kill Ling Zhao. He wanted to obtain the Moon Maiden. If Ling Zhao was still by his side, this Tuoba Ling wouldn't be a problem at all. However, looking at Elder Jian and Elder Tsang, those 2 old things, they were so scared by Tuoba Ling that they didn't dare to move. Looking at the 3 experts of Heavenly Pool Mountain, They also seemed to be afraid of Tuoba Ling. What was going on? Tuoba Ling, what are you trying to do? Finally, Qin Kanglin spoke. Under Ling Zhao's terrifying pressure, he still opened his mouth to speak. If he was so scared that he couldn't even speak, how could those experts by his side work for him? Don't you understand what I'm trying to do? Ling Zhao sneered and said, What happened to Uncle Fu? How did Hong Minor die? I want you to say it in front of the entire nation's citizens. In order to defeat a person, one had to attack his weakest point. Ji-hyun of Silla Qin Kanglin wanted to become the king of the Qin country. He couldn't do so without the support of the citizens. However, if the matter of Uncle Fu and Hong Minor was made public, he would be finished. Unless he had enough strength to suppress all the experts in the Qin country, he would have to get lost. Wishful thinking. Qin Kanglin said coldly, Hee, I knew you wouldn't cooperate so easily. However, you will speak the truth soon. Chapter 2888. The Chun nation's imperial palace will not tolerate your impudence. Seeing the Ji-hyun of Silla suppressed by Ling Zhao, the Sword Elder could no longer hold himself back. The Sword Elder stood up and roared furiously. Ling Zhao turned his head to look at the Sword Elder. This was the effect that Xiao Chen wanted. Xiao Chen's goal was to defeat his enemies one by one. Otherwise, it would be difficult for him to deal with them all at once. I, Tuoba Ling, am just a nameless person. I cannot compare to all of you here, who are famous and awe-inspiring. However, once I set my mind on protecting someone, I will not allow anyone to harm her. Even if I am not strong enough, I will take the risk. Ling Zhao's voice suddenly grew louder. Everyone in the dueling arena heard him clearly. As a friend of the seventh prince, Qin Kangming, I will break this dark imperial court today and smash it into smithereens. Smash it into smithereens. The second-ranked Sword Elder of the Qin nation. Do you want to fight me? This is a battle to the death. Do you dare? Ling Zhao's voice had already spread throughout the entire Qin nation through that special enchanted treasure. If the Qin nation's imperial elder refused to fight Ling Zhao because he feared death, he would lose all face. Furthermore, if a battle really broke out, Ling Zhao was confident of killing him. Almost everyone was paying attention to this man who called himself Tuoba Ling, since he dared to be so arrogant in the Chun nation's imperial palace. Even if he died in the end, it would be something to be proud of. In the past few years, the Qin nation citizens had suffered a lot from the royal court. Even some of the minor nobles were often exploited by the royal court and the major nobles. The major nobles had long since purchased the Qin nation's royal court's dark rule. They hoped that someone could smash this imperial court and return the Qin nation a clear sky. Today, the person who called himself Tuoba Ling stood here. The Chun nation citizens looked forward to this person helping them vent their anger. The reason why Ling Zhao wanted to broadcast this live was simple. He wanted to gain popularity for himself. This Qin nation would be his sooner or later. Without sufficient popularity and prestige, it would be difficult for him to control this nation. When the time was right, he would reveal his true identity. The Sword Elder firmly stared at Ling Zhao. His eyes emitted two sharp rays of light that were similar to sword light. However, he still didn't agree to Ling Zhao's request for battle. He was indeed stronger than Elder Feng. But the problem was, even if he was strong, he couldn't be that strong. For Ling Zhao to be able to kill Elder Feng in one move, his strength was definitely above his own. Why would he seek death? The dignified Sword Elder is actually such a coward. Forget it if you don't dare to fight, then obediently sit there and don't fart. Otherwise, I will mistakenly think that you want to fight. Ling Zhao saw that the Sword Elder was silent and could not help but sneer. The Sword Elder clenched his teeth, his old face flushed red. But in the end, fear overtook his will to fight. He actually sat down obediently. The dignified Sword Elder had become a laughingstock. It can't be Sword Elder is actually afraid of him? It seems that we have all underestimated this person. Perhaps he really is very strong, strong to the point that even the Sword Elder is afraid to accept his challenge. At the side of the arena, there were some other spectators. They were the remaining princes. Among these people, only the fourth prince supported Qin Sangxiong. The rest of the people were actually fence-sitters. Moreover, they had no ambition. They were all looking at the situation. If Chen Kangmeng had the advantage, then they would naturally choose to follow Qin Kangmeng. Hearing the Sword Elder's reply, Ling Xiao suddenly laughed. His laughter was carefree and full of sarcasm. From his mouth, he spat out words that could anger the Sword Elder to death. Qin country's 5 elders in the end are just a joke. Elder Kong couldn't even kill a 16-year-old youth. Ling Xiao, trash! Elder Hua was even killed by this youth. He is even more trash. As for Elder Feng, he couldn't even block one of my moves. Trash among trash. But in the end, they still dared to fight. But the Sword Elder is a real coward, a coward, a coward. He doesn't even dare to fight. He is even more trash than trash. Qin country's 5 elders, 4 of them have already been crippled. Is this the strongest backing of Qin country's royal family? Don't make people laugh their heads off. Hearing these words, the majority of the Qin country's royal family felt very unhappy. Qin country's 5 elders were their faith, their pride. Now that they were being criticized as worthless, how could they be happy? Especially the Sword Elder, who stared at Ling Xiao as if he wanted to eat Ling Xiao. Brat, don't go too far. The Sword Elder sitting there emitted an ancient and desolate aura. His martial spirit must be extraordinary. Ling Xiao directly ignored the Sword Elder and looked at the Sword Elder. The eldest of Qin country's 5 elders, Elder Tsang. Your strength should be stronger than the 4 of them combined. Since you say that I'm going too far, then let's fight. A battle of life and death, until one of us dies. Do you dare? Ling Xiao looked at the Sword Elder with a mocking smile on his face. The Sword Elder's face became extremely ugly. Of Qin country's 5 elders, only he could still keep up appearances. The 3rd brother, the 4th brother, and the 5th brother were already dead. The 2nd brother was so frightened that he lost his will to fight, as good as crippled. If anything happened to the 2nd brother, Qin country's 5 elders would become complete laughingstocks. This person who called himself Toba Ling was clearly trying to pin them, the Qin country's 5 elders, to the pillar of shame. Even if they died, they would die of cowardice. As the last pillar of the royal family, the Sword Elder knew that he could not back down, much less admit defeat. The Sword Elder stood up, his gaze fixed on Ling Xiao. Oh, you want to fight? Ling Xiao's face was filled with excitement. This Sword Elder was definitely strong. He was the key person for Xiao Qin to raise his cultivation. As long as Xiao Qin could advance to the peak of the 12th floor of hell, he would not have to fear the 3 people from the heavenly pool mountain. Li Xiaotian was the strongest of the 3. Xiao Chen did not fear him, so what could the other 2 do? You had better back down. Suddenly, Li Xiaotian stood up and said to the Sword Elder. Li Xiaotian could tell that the Sword Elder was feeling very conflicted. If he fought, he was afraid of dying. If he did not fight, he was afraid that the Qin country's royal family would lose face. Hence, Li Xiaotian had to step forward to help. After all, no matter what, the Qin country's royal family was very obedient. With such an obedient royal family providing many resources to the heavenly pool mountain every year, the heavenly pool mountain needed to protect them. Moreover, Li Xiaotian had come to the Qin nation with such a mission. The Sword Elder was stunned for a while. Then he heaved a sigh of relief, as if the knot in his heart was gone. Humph! With the heavenly pool mountain's experts dealing with you, this old man will have less trouble. The Sword Elder snorted coldly and sat back down. A coward is a coward. There is no point in finding excuses. In your eyes, they are experts. However, in my eyes, they are nothing." Hearing this, everyone was stunned. The Heavenly Pool Mountain's experts were nothing? Wasn't Tuoba Ling's tone a little too arrogant? Chapter 2889. Among the three from the Heavenly Pool Mountain. 2 of them were unrivaled in the 12 layers of hell. Even the old man could not last more than 3 moves against them. As for Li Xiaotian, he was an early-stage yin-yang realm cultivator at the 13th layer of hell. This fellow who called himself Tuoba Ling dared to say that he was nothing. This was simply seeking death. This fellow was too arrogant and reckless. He was simply courting death. Li Xiaotian stood up from his seat and looked at Ling Xiao coldly. Anger appeared on his face. In the extreme monarch secret realm, a brat called Ling Xiao broke one of Li Xiaotian's arms. He had to use a large amount of internal energy to recover. Even now, he still felt that something was amiss. Now, another fellow called Tuoba Ling came to find trouble with him. Did these fellows really think that the cultivators of the Heavenly Pool Mountain were easy to bully? "Senior brother, let me fight. There is no need for you to personally deal with such trash." Someone beside Li Xiaotian said, "There is no need. I have nowhere to vent my anger. Since he is seeking death, I will grant him his wish." Right after Li Xiaotian spoke, his killing intent blossomed. Then he charged at Ling Xiao like a ferocious beast. The Heavenly Pool Mountain had best stay out of the Chen Nation's matters. Otherwise, you will not be able to return alive. Ling Xiao said as he looked at Li Xiaotian indifferently. Xiao Chen stood with his hands behind his back on the vast dueling ring. A gust of wind blew under the moonlight, causing his robes to flutter and his long black hair to dance wildly behind his head. Unexpectedly, Xiao Chen did not show any fear when facing Li Xiaotian. Xiao Chen did not mind exposing his identity to deal with this fellow. As long as Xiao Chen killed this Li Xiaotian, the others would not be a problem. Even if Xiao Chen exposed his identity, it did not matter. A battle of life and death. Ling Xiao asked as he looked at Li Xiaotian. That's right, a battle of life and death. Li Xiaotian nodded. In that case, it would be best to write a written agreement. Otherwise, if the Heavenly Pool Mountain reneges on the debt and comes to find trouble with me, I can take it out for all the heroes of the world to see. Ling Xiao said indifferently, Humph, so be it. Do you really think that you can kill me? Li Xiaotian snorted and wrote his name on the life and death certificate. He did not care about these things. As long as he killed Ling Xiao, nothing else mattered. Ling Xiao smiled and wrote down his name. The 2 of them stood on the stage at the same time. They stood 100 meters away from each other and looked at each other coldly. Phew! A gust of wind raged, and their clothes began to flutter violently. It's windy? The sword elder suspiciously looked at the sky, but he didn't see the slightest movement of the wind. It's the strength of those 2 people. The old man looked at the arena and said coldly. Until now, he still couldn't accept being called a coward by Ling Xiao, but he couldn't refute it. After all, he had backed down in the end. In fact, if he was willing to fight, then even Li Xiaotian would not insist on stopping him. In the end, he was still a coward. The fierce wind on the stage came from Ling Xiao and Li Xiaotian's strength, ferocious and overbearing. Tuoba Ling, I don't care who your true identity is. Since you have met me today, only death awaits you. The reason why the sword elder and old man didn't accept the challenge was because they wanted to leave you, the prey, to me. Do you really think that they are afraid? Standing there, Li Xiaotian said in a clear voice. At the same time, a long sword appeared in his hand. It is still the mortal grade emperor weapon. However, Li Xiaotian did not release his martial spirit. Perhaps he felt that there was no need to do so. Are they stronger, or are you stronger? Ling Xiao sneered as a 3-pointed double-edged sword appeared in his hand again. Of course I'm stronger. Then, after I kill you, I can prove that what you just said was bullshit." Ling Zhao's aura suddenly became berserk, as if he was an angry war god. "You have successfully angered me." Li Xiaotian roared as the long sword in his hand trembled. A resplendent sword light instantly shot towards Ling Xiao. Facing this incomparably gorgeous and terrifying sword light, Ling Zhao's lips curled into a disdainful sneer. Transcendent Seal, War God Yang Jian. As the Transcendent Seal was executed, golden light flickered on Ling Zhao's body. Then his entire body was covered in battle armor, as if he was a god. His body was wrapped in a layer of golden illusion. It is a man with 3 eyes. The weapon in the man's hand is also a 3-pointed double-edged sword. It is majestic and incomparably overbearing. At this moment, the sword light arrived and stabbed the illusion, causing it to be sent flying. Ling Xiao sneered as a ray of light shot out from the illusion's forehead. It was like a sharp sword qi that attacked Li Xiaotian. He actually became stronger again. Li Xiaotian's eyes were filled with shock and fear as he hastily brandished his long sword to block. At this moment, it is impossible to dodge. He can only take it head-on. Bang! When the golden light hit the long sword, it actually refracted and accurately stabbed Li Xiaotian. A circular hole appeared in Li Xiaotian's abdomen. There is no blood, only burnt flesh and a burnt smell. Looking at the hole in his abdomen, Li Xiaotian's face turned red and he was extremely angry. In a moment of carelessness, he was actually injured by Ling Xiao. Moreover, he was injured in such a sorry state. "You'd better use your full strength now. Otherwise, when you die, you will regret it." Ling Xiao looked at Li Xiaotian contemptuously and said indifferently, "This idiot wants to defeat me without even using his martial spirit. Isn't he looking down on me too much?" Li Xiaotian's face was cold as the sword martial spirit appeared behind him. At the moment when the martial spirit was released, his aura obviously became much stronger. "I have underestimated you, but if you force me to use my full strength, you will no longer have a chance to live." Li Xiaotian's long sword danced again. The sword light was like a red sun, illuminating the entire battle arena. Bright, gorgeous, powerful. Sun sword, kill! With a roar, Li Xiaotian stabbed out with his long sword. The flashing sword light was like a red sun, forcing everyone's eyes to be unable to see anything. Including Ling Xiao, he had no choice but to close his eyes. This sword was indeed incomparably gorgeous, and it was indeed impossible to guard against. Coupled with Li Xiaotian's powerful cultivation, the power was extremely terrifying. "Die, idiot!" Li Xiaotian did not shout out loud. This was only what he said in his heart. Now that Ling Xiao had lost his vision, he did not want Ling Xiao to determine his position by hearing. However, Ling Xiao still raised the 3-pointed, double-edged sword in his hand. It was pointed at his position. A terrifying killing aura was emitted from the 3-pointed, double-edged sword. Between heaven and earth, the killing aura was surging, as if the god of death from hell had arrived. Although he was using Yang Jian's Dharma idol, the user was still Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao's strongest battle intent was his killing intent. This was the terrifying killing intent that had been condensed through countless battles. People could feel it. Li Xiaotian's sword skill was gorgeous and powerful, causing people to be afraid. However, Ling Xiao's attack was more simple, but more terrifying and shocking. Li Xiaotian gave people the feeling that he was only strong in sword skill and strength. Chapter 2890. With his terrifying killing intent, Ling Xiao's aura did not lose to Li Xiaotian's. Boom! The 3-pointed, double-edged blade and the long sword clashed in the air. No matter which direction Li Xiaotian attacked, he could not avoid the strange weapon. The 3-pointed, double-edged blade was not an ordinary weapon. He used the Blood Thunder Emperor sword as a foundation and condensed it using the Transcendent Seal. Therefore, it was also a mortal-grade Emperor weapon. However, with Yang Jian's transcendent seal, he could unleash its power without using his sword martial spirit. Moreover, it would not backfire on him. As the two mortal-grade Emperor weapons clashed, explosions rang out in the air. The perfectly fine martial arts arena had already been blasted into smithereens. If these two fellows were to fight outside, I'm afraid the entire Thunder City would be destroyed by them. Although he did not want to believe it, Chen Kanglin had to admit that the two of them were experts of the same level, although Tuoba Ling seemed to be slightly weaker. This clash ended with Tuoba Ling retreating 10 steps and Li Xiaotian not retreating at all. However, Li Xiaotian was unable to feel happy. His cultivation was much higher than Ling Zhao's. Even when he used his full strength, he only had a slight advantage. This was simply a blow to his confidence. Kill. Li Xiaotian could not accept such a situation. He unleashed his potential as an outer sect genius of the heavenly Pool Mountain. The long sword in his hand gave off an even more dazzling light. Sun Sword Art, Solar Storm. Li Xiaotian could not stand the calm expression on Ling Zhao's face. Ling Xiao should have been frightened and uneasy when fighting with him. However, what Ling Xiao was showing now was excitement and confidence, as if victory was already in his hands. This made him very unhappy. The terrifying sword light turned into a solar storm that engulfed the entire area. Terrifying explosions occurred within the storm. This solar storm did not only have sword light that had terrifying penetrative power. The most terrifying thing was that the sword light could explode and create terrifying explosions that were impossible to defend against. Good. Ling Xiao sneered as he aimed the three-pointed, double-edged blade at the solar storm. Then, a huge black hound appeared beside him. Transcendent seal, howling celestial hound. Swallow those storms for me. When Ling Xiao saw this solar storm, he was almost excited to the extreme. His cultivation was already close to a breakthrough. That collision just now had increased the energy in his cultivation, by quite a bit. It was already close to 80%. If he could absorb all of this huge solar storm, then not only would he be able to stimulate the eruption of his potential, but he would also be able to fill up his cultivation ocean. The giant black dog rushed out. Along the way, it opened its huge mouth and greedily devoured the terrifying solar storm. After countless explosions, the howling celestial dog was finally destroyed and disappeared. However, the power of the solar storm was greatly reduced as a result. Ling Xiao brandished the three-pointed, double-edged sword in his hand and charged out. The terrifying killing intent completely shattered the remaining solar storm. Ha ha ha, awesome! Ling Xiao could feel it. He could already feel his sea of cultivation boiling. Although the howling celestial dog had been destroyed, it had devoured a lot of energy from the solar storm for him. Currently, the energy in his cultivation sea had already risen to 90%, or even a little more, although there was still a long way to go before a breakthrough. However, Ling Xiao believed that Li Xiaotian would not let him down. He believed that the terror of a Yin-Yang realm powerhouse in the 13th level of hell would not be fake. Solar sword flare. Li Xiaotian's attack did not stop. Because Ling Xiao had concealed part of his aura, he did not know that his attack had doubled Ling Zhao's strength. This move was even more ferocious. A huge solar flare fell from the sky. As if a fragment of the sun had fallen into the mystic world, the blazing flames shone in the sky. Rumble! Ling Xiao took a step out of the void, and his soaring battle intent completely erupted. The aura that had been hidden was completely released. His long black hair danced wildly behind his head. The three-pointed, double-edged sword seemed to have turned into a sharp divine sword, pointing at his opponent with the intention of destroying everything. Break for me! A domineering and majestic voice came out of Ling Zhao's mouth. The three-pointed, double-edged sword cut through the void, and the sword light bloomed in the void. Then, It collided with the blazing red solar flare. Destructive gales flew everywhere, and the entire battlefield was in chaos. Such a hot aura. I can feel it so clearly even though I'm standing so far away. What is going on? This guy called Tuobaling is too strong. How can he be a nobody? He must be using a fake name. Yeah, he can face Taoist Lee of the Heavenly Pool Mountain head-on without retreating. This is too terrifying. Aren't the two of you going to help? Chun Kanglin was a little worried. He looked at the other two experts of the Heavenly Pool Mountain and asked nervously, Senior brother has his pride and dignity. How can we go and help now? Moreover, don't you believe in senior brother's strength? He is a yin-yang realm powerhouse in the 13th level of hell. In your Chin Nation, he is an invincible existence. The people of the Heavenly Pool Mountain showed a disdainful expression and said that Tuobaling might seem to be on par with senior brother, but he is just an arrow at the end of its flight. After all, his cultivation is not enough, and his internal energy is not enough. Just wait, we will see the results soon. Two idiots! Chun Kanglin cursed in his heart. If they worked together to kill that Tuobaling, everything would be settled. How could they still talk about dignity at this moment? Pride? He was a person who would do anything to win. So he really didn't understand the so-called ambition and arrogance of some martial artists. However, he could not say this out loud. Although the three experts of the Heavenly Pool Mountain agreed to help him, they were not under his complete control. They were not like the elders of the Chin Nation, who were almost his slaves. As they spoke, the situation changed again. Li Xiaotian saw that the solar flare could not destroy his opponent, and his anger grew. Tuobaling, I want you to understand that the Heavenly Pool Mountain is not something a small character like you can fight against. Our martial techniques are not something you can fight against. Sun Sword Art, Day of Destruction. As he roared furiously, something terrifying happened. Then, something terrifying happened. The red sunlight thing that had condensed above his head suddenly cracked. Then, a terrifying energy was released, constantly attacking the surrounding space. In the end, the scarlet sun-like ball of light exploded. It released a terrifying, glaring light. It illuminated everything, but also seemed like it was going to destroy everything. Kill! Ling Xiao did not retreat. The three-pointed, double-edged saber in his hand met this terrifying attack. It was like Kwafu competing with the sun. Kacha! A shattering sound was heard. The three-pointed, double-edged saber in Ling Xiao's hand actually shattered. Chapter 2891. The three-pointed, double-edged swords were destroyed, but Li Xiaoqian's attacks continued to pressure Ling Xiao, wanting to destroy him as well. However, at this moment, a smile appeared on Ling Xiao's face. It was a strange smile, a smile of victory, a smile of a breakthrough in cultivation. Facing Li Xiaoqian's powerful and domineering sword, Ling Xiao finally achieved a crucial breakthrough under the threat of death. He had advanced from the late stage of the 12th level of hell to the peak of the 12th level of hell. This might be a small step for others, but it was definitely a big step for Ling Xiao. From this moment on, he no longer feared anyone in the Qin Nation. In that instant, 10 demonic dragon swords appeared at the same time. Ling Xiao's body also entered the demonic Tyrant, blood, dragon, martial soul transformation state. For powerful beast souls, the purple lightning bull, the three-headed lava hound, the nine-headed snake general, and the black eagle appeared behind him. Together with the sword martial soul, the huge demonic dragon sword in his hand slashed at the sword chi in the air. In that instant, a destructive aura that made people feel as if the end of the world had arrived began to erupt. This terrifying power formed a destructive sword chi. The destructive sword chi wreaked havoc in the air, creating a terrifying destructive storm. When it comes to swords, you are far inferior to me. Ling Xiao said coldly to Li Xiaotian as if he was making a declaration. That guy isn't Tuoba Ling. He is Ling Xiao. Chan Kanglin stood up and looked at the youth in the arena in horror. Ling Xiao had already abandoned his disguise and revealed his true face. Countless people saw this scene at the same time. They were all too familiar with the name Ling Xiao. He came from the small Yuhua town and became the city lord of the 8 Immortals County. Later on, he killed the 8th prince and defeated Ji Hian of Silla. He killed the 7 generals of the Old and New Heavenly Thunder Legion. Of course, the most terrifying thing was that he killed the Lightning Seigneur and indirectly killed Elder Kong. After coming to the Thunder City, he killed Elder Hua and Elder Feng with his own hands and forced Elder Jian and Elder Tsang to bow their heads and admit defeat. Such a person was actually so young. As the saying goes, seeing once is better than hearing 100 times. Ling Xiao had really broken the imaginations of almost everyone, but the thing that frightened them was still happening. Wherever the true Devil's Sword Qi went, the space seemed to be destroyed instantly. Everything was destroyed. Nothing could survive the true Devil's Sword Qi. Li Xiaotian's powerful sword light was quickly dissolved, devoured, and shattered by the true Devil's Sword Qi. A look of intense fear appeared on his originally arrogant face. How could this Ling Xiao be so terrifying? How could this true Devil's Sword Qi be so powerful? When they met at the Yuanling tribe, Ling Xiao was able to injure him, but he thought that was because he had underestimated his opponent. In terms of strength, he was definitely above Ling Xiao. However, when they met again this time, Ling Xiao was more than 10 times stronger than before. This was not the first time he had seen this terrifying, true Devil's Sword Qi. Instead, its power was definitely much stronger than before. Within the true Devil's Sword Qi, the shadow of the demonic immortal sword appeared, as though it wanted to kill him completely. Not good retreat. Although Li Xiaotian was extremely unwilling to admit defeat in front of a guy whose cultivation was inferior to his, and whose background was even more inferior to his. However, at this time, he had no other choice at all. The only thing he could do was to escape. He did not want to die. He knew that he could not resist this powerful attack. Only by dodging this powerful attack might he have a chance to counterattack. After all, such a powerful attack would definitely consume a lot of energy. However, could he dodge it? Could he escape? Ling Xiao, Li Xiaotian will remember you. I'll spare your dog life today, but I'll definitely take revenge on you in the future. Junior brothers, I'll make a move first. Sword light evasion. At the critical moment, Li Xiaotian used his trump card to save his life. This was a unique skill that came from the Heavenly Pool Mountain. Logically speaking, only a few inner sect disciples had the qualifications to cultivate it. However, although this Li Xiaotian was an outer sect disciple, he had a very good relationship with the elders of the Heavenly Pool Mountain. Hence, he got the opportunity to cultivate this unique skill. In the past, when he was carrying out missions outside, even if he encountered a martial artist whose cultivation was 2 minor realms higher than him, he could still successfully escape. No one could catch up with him at all. Hence, he also believed that Ling Xiao would not be able to catch up with him. It was absolutely impossible. Running away after acting tough? Unfortunately, you met me. Earth Golden Light skill, quick! As Ling Xiao's cold voice came from his mouth, he instantly turned into a golden light and completely disappeared in front of everyone's eyes. When he reappeared, he was already more than 1,000 meters away. He happened to be right next to Li Xiaotian. In terms of speed, you're much slower than me. His voice rang in Li Xiaotian's ears. At that moment, Li Xiaotian felt as if he had heard a curse that would end his life. His whole body trembled. Impossible! How could you possibly catch up with my sword light evasion? Not only was he surprised, but the onlookers were also shocked. Li Xiaotian instantly turned into a sword light and escaped. That speed was so fast that their eyes could not catch it. Hence, Chen Kanglin wanted to scold that guy for not being loyal and running away alone without bringing him along. However, in the next moment, they were surprised to find that even with such a terrifying speed, they still could not escape from Ling Xiao's pursuit. A terrifying aura came from Li Xiaoyan's side. The demon dragon sword pierced Li Xiaoyan's body. Chi! Chi! The sound of the sword piercing through the elemental energy shield was heard. Li Xiaoyan's frightened expression became even more exaggerated. He could only watch as his body was pierced by the sword, but there was nothing he could do. Spare me, and I can give you the martial arts manual of the Heavenly Pool Mountain. At this critical moment, Li Xiaotian could not care less. He only wanted to live. As for everything else, he didn't care at all. Even if he was asked to betray the Heavenly Pool Mountain, he would not care. It's too late. Ling Xiao's voice rang in his ears. When we were in the Yuanling tribe, you and I were destined to live. Only one of us can live. Li Xiaotian raised his head. His expression was extremely ferocious, but his eyes were filled with despair. However, he saw that Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with coldness and ruthlessness. They did not look like the eyes of a human, but more like the eyes of a demon. Begging a demon to spare him? Was that even possible? Who would have thought that I, Li Xiaotian of the Heavenly Pool Mountain, would die in this small Qin nation? I can't accept this. Li Xiaoyan's body struggled frantically. He tried to put up a final resistance. He did not want to die. No one wanted to die. Li Xiaotian was even more so. He was a genius among the outer disciples of the Heavenly Pool Mountain. He was recognized by the elders of the Heavenly Pool Mountain's library pavilion. With a chance, he could enter the inner sect and soar into the sky. But now he was going to die. He was going to die in the hands of someone he once thought was insignificant. The terrifying sword aura had already begun to destroy his body. He could even feel his life force rapidly draining away. Chapter 2892. Ah! Li Xiaotian let out a blood-curdling scream. Despair, anger, regret. All of his emotions exploded at this moment. Everyone stared fixedly at this inconceivable scene. Incomparable shock. Seventh Prince Qin Kangmeng once again witnessed Ling Xiao's strength. However, compared to the first time they met, the current Ling Xiao was so powerful that he did not dare to recognize him. It was too terrifying. Li Xiaotian was a first revolution yin-yang realm martial artist at the early stage of the 13th level of hell. Yet he was killed by Ling Xiao just like that. The most shocked people were Ji Hyun of Silla, Qin Kanglin, and the two disciples from Tianqi Mountain. Qin Kanglin returned this time to seize the throne and then kill Ling Xiao. However, the strength that Ling Xiao displayed caused him to sink into incomparable despair. With such strength, even Li Xiaotian was no match for him. This was really unbelievable. Ling Xiao's aura kept rising during the battle. His strength kept increasing. This was the most terrifying part about him. As long as he could not be killed, he could become stronger. This person was too terrifying. Qin Kanglin, who can you rely on now? After killing Li Xiaotian, Ling Xiao walked towards Ji Hyun of Silla and asked coldly, Ling Xiao, this is Thunder City. Do you really think that you can do whatever you want after killing Li Xiaotian? Qin Kanglin sat there. His heart was filled with fear, but his mouth was still bluffing. Haha, Li Xiaotian was almost invincible when he came to the Qin nation. Unfortunately, he met me. I am the #1 expert in the Qin nation. You don't have to bluff to scare me. I am not a 3-year-old child. Tell me what you've done to Hong Minor. Otherwise, I'll make you beg for death. Ling Xiao looked at Qin Kanglin indifferently. Will you spare me if I tell you? Qin Kanglin asked. You don't have the qualifications to bargain with me right now. Ling Xiao said indifferently, One more word of nonsense, and I'll let you taste the pain of having your heart pierced. The winner takes all. Do it, I have nothing to say. Qin Kanglin knew that there were some things that he couldn't say. Once he said it, he would immediately become the target of public criticism and be spurned by everyone. He would rather be killed by Ling Xiao. It seems like you don't understand what I'm saying. Ling Xiao sneered and transformed into a 9-snake general. The 9-snake heads swayed ferociously behind him. As the prince of the Chun kingdom, the favored Ji-Hyun of Silla, you have suffered too little. So today, I will let you experience the most basic types of pain. Then, a snake head darted out and bit Chun Kanglin's body. At that moment, the poison flowed through Chun Kanglin's body. Ah! Chun Kanglin let out a shrill scream. His entire body curled up into a ball. His face was extremely pale and he looked like he was about to die. No, I'll tell you. I beg you, please don't torture me. He let out a hysterical cry in fear. Ling Xiao was stunned for a moment. Then a look of disdain appeared on his face. He thought that Chun Kanglin would be able to hold on for a while longer. Who knew that he would be so useless? Just one type of poison was enough to make this guy completely lose his ability to resist. Ling Xiao controlled the snake heads to suck out the poison. Chun Kanglin felt a little better. However, the 9 ferocious snake heads were still staring at him in the air. He didn't dare to disobey. He told Ling Xiao everything that he had done, just as Ling Xiao had predicted. This guy didn't just return kindness with ingratitude by killing Hong Min. He even destroyed Hong Min, or his entire family. Hearing this guy's account of the tragic events, the angry citizens even began to shout, "Kill him! Put him to death by 1,000 cuts! This despicable guy is simply unforgivable." Although their voices couldn't be heard in the palace, they still shouted angrily, "Give me a quick death!" Chun Kanglin lay on the ground like a dead dog. Ling Xiao glanced at him and waved his hand. A sword radiance flew past, and Chun Kanglin's head was separated from his body. He didn't like to torture people, unless he wanted to ask about something or if someone had done the same thing to his friends and family. As for Chun Kanglin, he would just kill him. After killing Chun Kanglin, Ling Xiao looked at Elder Jian and Elder Tsang and asked coldly, "What about the two of you? Follow him to death? Or declare your allegiance to the new king?" Elder Jian and Elder Tsang looked at each other. In the end, they both knelt down and said, "Greetings to the new king." "Hee, I was counting on the two of you to be loyal. I killed Elder Hua and Elder Feng. Don't the two of you hate me?" Ling Xiao sneered. "That's because they were blind and deserved to die." The two old men spoke in the same tone. "Humph, people like you, I can spare your lives. But you must eat these 2 pills. You are too strong, I can't be at ease." Ling Xiao coldly snorted and said, "These pills are called soul-absorbing pills. Normally, there won't be any discomfort. But if you want to betray me, it will immediately take effect and scatter your souls." Hearing this, Elder Jian and Elder Tsang looked at each other and revealed an unwilling expression. They originally planned to pretend to surrender and then think of a way to kill Ling Xiao or the new king of Qin country appointed by Ling Xiao. In any case, Ling Xiao can't stay in Qin country forever. They can afford to wait. But now that they have the soul-absorbing pills, they can't carry out their plan. "Big brother, quickly go and find Lightning Emperor. I will stop this guy." Elder Jian suddenly roared and charged towards Ling Xiao. As for Elder Tsang, he rushed out of the palace and headed towards the Emperor's forbidden area. That is where Lightning Emperor secluded himself. It is also the most secretive place in Qin country. Aside from Chun country's king, no one else knows what secrets lie there. Those who obey me prosper. Those who oppose me perish. Ling Xiao coldly glanced at Elder Jian, who was charging towards him. Before he broke through, he might need 3 or 4 moves to deal with this guy. But now he only needs 1 move. The sinister snake head shot out at a speed hard to see with the naked eye and bit Elder Jian's neck. Elder Jian died on the spot. Little gold to Oba Yunxiang. You guys protect 7th Prince. I will be back soon. Ling Xiao can catch up to Elder Tsang. However, he did not go all out. He hopes that Elder Tsang can help him find Lightning Emperor. He really wants to know how strong Lightning Emperor can become after cultivating in the Emperor's forbidden area. Just thinking about it makes him excited. Elder Tsang fled while looking back. He did not see Ling Xiao's figure. However, he feels very uneasy. He keeps feeling that Ling Xiao should be following behind him. However, he still can't find him. When you are running for your life, don't look around, okay? Chapter 2893. Did you kill him? The old man was naturally referring to the sword elder. That's right, I killed him. I wanted to let you live, but you didn't want to, so I had to kill him. Ling Xiao said indifferently, What do you want? I didn't offend you, nor did I attack you. You can't kill the innocent. The old man roared. Innocent? Hee. You didn't do it yourself. But are you going to tell me that the army that attacked the demonic dragon city didn't have the orders of the 5 elders of the Qin kingdom? What a joke. Now you're talking about innocence with me. If I wasn't stronger than you, I would have been killed by you. Ling Xiao mocked. The old man was speechless. At this moment, a gust of wind blew past. The old man felt his body tremble violently. From the outside to the inside, there was a bone-chilling coldness. No, not only bone-chilling, but also heart-chilling. If you want to kill me, why don't you do it? The old man asked with fear. You seem to have reinforcements. I'm not interested in the weak. I only want to deal with the strong. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Humph, kid, if you really have the courage, do you dare to follow me to a place? The old man snorted coldly. In fact, he was most afraid that Ling Xiao would kill him. If that happened, he would have no hope. However, if Ling Xiao didn't kill him, he was confident that he could bring Ling Xiao to his death. Why wouldn't I dare? Ling Xiao chuckled and said, What you're relying on is nothing more than the Thunder Emperor. I want to see what kind of high-level martial arts the Thunder Emperor can cultivate in such a short time. Then follow me. After the old man finished speaking, he turned around and rushed out. His speed was extremely fast. He thought that Ling Xiao would rush over as well. However, when he was flying, he realized that there was no sound behind him. It was as if Ling Xiao didn't follow him at all. Humph, this kid is really afraid. He snorted coldly and looked back triumphantly. What he saw gave him a fright. Ling Xiao was standing less than 3 meters away from him, like a ghost. What kind of movement technique did this fellow cultivate? He's actually as terrifying as a ghost. The old man's heart was filled with fear. Forget it. Escape is more important. He knew that it was impossible for him to shake off Ling Xiao, so he flew with all his might, hoping to find the Thunder Emperor before Ling Xiao changed his mind. As long as he could see the Thunder Emperor, there would be hope. He believed that the Chen nation's many years of accumulation would not be overturned by an ant. Even though this ant had grown into a terrifying beast, it was still the same. Soon he flew out of the palace and flew above the outer city. It was hard for most people to imagine that the forbidden land of the emperors was not within the royal city, but outside the city. Perhaps this was the so-called darkness under the lamp. Very soon, Elder Tsang smelled the aura of the mysterious forbidden area. Originally, only emperors could enter this place. However, it was a critical moment now. As the eldest of the 5 elders of the Qin nation, he naturally had the right to enter. Soon, he stepped into an ancient-looking house. This house looked very ordinary, and it seemed that no one had lived in it for many years. It was already abandoned. However, Ling Xiao could sense that there were quite a few experts hidden among them. Of course, such experts were not worth mentioning to him. Elder Tsang finally stopped. He stood above a well in this abandoned house and looked at Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao could sense that dozens of auras had arrived around the well at the same time. These people saw Elder Tsang, but they were shocked to find that Elder Tsang, who usually had a lofty aura, was now in a sorry state. Moreover, there was an incomparably terrified expression on his face, as if he was afraid of something. Suddenly they smelled another aura. It instantly arrived above the house. It was a young man who looked to be 16 or 17 years old. He just stood in the air above the house, looking down at everyone. An enemy attack. They did not know who this young man was, nor did they know what Elder Tsang had encountered. However, since this young man was chasing after Elder Tsang, there was no doubt that he was their enemy. These people had been guarding this forbidden area for many years, and they were all top experts of the Qin nation. Since someone dared to intrude here, they had a reason to chase him away. Kid, why aren't you leaving? How can someone like you enter the forbidden area of the emperor as you wish? One of them looked at Ling Xiao and scolded angrily. However, Ling Xiao did not look at him. Instead, he looked at Elder Tsang and said that well under your feet is the entrance to the forbidden area. Your hope is in there. That's right, so what? Although you are powerful, you can forget about leaving here alive. Everyone, this person killed Elder Tsang and usurped the throne. He has committed a heinous crime. Quickly, set up the celestial demon capturing formation. Elder Tsang suddenly shouted. These experts did not understand what was going on. However, the celestial demon capturing formation was their most powerful battle formation. Since Elder Tsang asked them to set up this formation, it was enough to show how terrifying their opponent was. Therefore, they did not dare to underestimate their opponent. They started setting up the formation in an instant. A battle formation was easier to set up than an ordinary formation. Furthermore, these people had clearly been trained meticulously on a daily basis. In a short time, the so-called celestial demon capturing formation was set up. Master, is this the celestial demon capturing formation? Why do I feel that it is different from what you said? Ling Xiao was shocked when he heard that the other party was going to set up the celestial demon capturing formation. This was because the Yuan Venerate had once said that it was one of the top 10 battle formations of the mystic world and was extremely powerful. If it was set up successfully, it could increase the combat power of all the martialists who set up the formation. Even if they were 10 times stronger than them, they could still be killed. However, it was obvious that the so-called celestial demon capturing formation that these people had set up was not that powerful. The real celestial demon capturing formation is not something that martialists with such cultivation can use. This formation has nothing to do with the celestial demon capturing formation. It is just a more domineering name. Yuan Venerate replied. Then I am relieved. Ling Xiao smiled and then looked at Elder Tsang. You know that they are useless. Kid, you are too arrogant. This is the forbidden area of the monarch. It is not a place for you to behave atrociously. One of the experts shouted. Arrogant? Ling Xiao smiled contemptuously. I am arrogant. What can you do about it? One could be arrogant if one had the strength. This was not something he had created. The royal family of the Chen nation could easily destroy a family because of their strength, even if the family had made great contributions to defend their royal authority. They could also decide the life and death of a person or even thousands of people because of their strength. Did they have anyone in their eyes? Ling Xiao's words stunned all the experts present. This kid was so domineering and arrogant. Chapter 2894. Elder Tsang, is this kid really that powerful? Someone asked with a frown after sensing Ling Xiao's insufferably arrogant aura. He's very powerful. Elder Hua, Elder Feng, and Elder Jian were all killed by him. Even Li Xiaotian of the Heavenly Pool Mountain was killed by him. The old man said coldly, Therefore, none of you, including me, are a match for him. We can only work together. Kill him together. We have 65 Yin-Yang First Revolution cultivators here, who are at the peak of the 12th level of hell. Even if all of us are weaker than him, We can definitely defeat him with the heavenly demon capturing formation. Work together? Ling Xiao laughed in disdain as he looked at old man Song Lao. His eyes were filled with mockery. I'll give you 3 breaths of time. You'd better find an opponent who can truly excite me. Otherwise, I'll kill you immediately. If it was the real heavenly demon capturing formation, Ling Xiao might be a little worried. However, since it was a fake, although it could provide some enhancement, it was still limited. In his eyes, these people were just a bunch of mobs. 1 or 100, there was no difference. Elder Tsang still did not understand how powerful he was. That was why he had such a naive and laughable thought. There was no hope even if they worked together. Elder Tsang's heart twitched. At that moment, he suddenly understood that the Chun nation was finished. It was really finished. Facing such a powerful lineup, Ling Xiao did not have the slightest bit of fear. How could he not feel despair? The Chun nation could not find a single person who could deal with Ling Xiao. It was a complete joke. Sad. Lamentable. It's been 2 breaths. Ling Xiao said indifferently. This voice startled Elder Tsang out of his thoughts. He looked at the well under his feet and clearly sensed that the Thunder Emperor had not come out of seclusion. If he disturbed the Thunder Emperor now, it might cause the Thunder Emperor to fail in his cultivation. Thinking of this, he gritted his teeth. He looked at Ling Xiao. If you want to kill me, then kill me. What's the point of talking nonsense? Wanting to die? Isn't that easy? Ling Xiao revealed a mocking cold smile on his face. 3 breaths are up. However, I will not kill you. I will keep your lowly life. Your only hope is for the Thunder Emperor to succeed in cultivating the divine technique and kill me. Then I let you see how he'll be destroyed. But as for you, you may be spared from death, but you must be punished. With that, his figure flashed and turned into a demonic dragon phantom that pounced towards Elder Tsang. Quick! It was inconceivably fast. It was so fast that none of the experts present could react. I will not sit here and wait for my death. The old man roared angrily and used all of his internal energy in an attempt to perish together with Ling Xiao. However, Ling Xiao's hand pressed on his shoulder. His body trembled fiercely. An internal energy that he had already mobilized actually completely lost control in an instant, completely extinguished. You can't even self-destruct. Elder Tsang knelt on the ground, his aged face revealing a look of horror. He wanted to self-destruct, to perish together with Ling Xiao. However, in the end, he realized that he could not even self-destruct. The internal energy in his body no longer belonged to him. Just wait here obediently. The show has yet to start. Don't be in a hurry to die. Ling Xiao smiled coldly and directly crippled Elder Tsang's cultivation. Then he looked in the direction of the well. At that moment, the guards of the forbidden land of the Emperor all reacted and released a violent aura. They could watch as Elder Tsang was killed, but they definitely could not let Ling Xiao barge into the forbidden land and affect the Thunder Emperor's cultivation. To them, this was a great taboo. I'll kill whoever dares to attack me. So, if you're smart, you'd better stay there obediently and not move. A cold voice mixed with a terrifying, murderous aura was released, causing those who were about to attack to stop. Even the aura that they released was clearly much weaker. Everyone was afraid of death, and so were they. However, there were still people who were not afraid of death. Listen up. We are the Thunder Emperor's guards. We must protect the Thunder Emperor. Even if we die, we must guard the Forbidden Land. One of the cultivators seemed to be one of the leaders of the guards. His words caused a battle intent that had already subsided to erupt once again. Ling Xiao glanced at that person coldly. His feet moved. No one saw clearly how he moved. In the next moment, the person who had fanned the flames had already fallen to the ground. There was a red mark on his throat. I've said it before. I'll kill whoever dares to attack me. Don't turn a deaf ear to my words. Ling Xiao calmly glanced at the corpse and stared at the well, sensing the aura that was released from it. Humph! Looks like the Thunder Emperor hasn't broken through yet. Fine, it's too boring to kill you now. Ling Xiao snorted coldly. Then he looked at the old man and said, "Tell the Thunder Emperor that the day he breaks through is the day he dies. I'll give him a fair chance to fight. If I'm not wrong, he will break through in 2 days. In 2 days, I will set up an arena outside the Thunder City. Any cultivator of the Chen Nation who is not convinced of me can come and challenge me. However, there is one thing. Once you enter the arena, it will be a battle of life and death. If you die, don't blame me for being ruthless. You are too arrogant. Do you really think that there is no one in the Chen Nation who can deal with you?" The old man said coldly as he looked at Ling Xiao. "I hope that there is. That way I can have some fun." Ling Xiao had 3 considerations when setting up the arena. The first was, of course, to fight with experts to stimulate the potential in one's body and raise one's strength. The second was naturally to show off one's martial prowess and get the Qin Nation's cultivators to submit to him. In this world where the strong preyed on the weak, where martial prowess reigned supreme, only one with the strongest martial prowess was qualified to control this nation. Only then would one be qualified to convince others. Xiao Chen did not want to leave behind hidden dangers for the Heavenly Empire. The third was to defeat the Thunder Emperor openly before everyone and get the Thunder Emperor to admit to all the crimes that he had committed in the past, returning justice to Ling Yan's clan. All right, during this period, you'd best not think of running away. Otherwise, I will grind your bones to dust. Ling Xiao turned and left, leaving behind a tyrannical and strong aura. There was not a single person present who did not have complicated feelings. This Ling Xiao actually treated the countless experts of the Chen Nation as nothing. He easily crippled the old man and killed the leader of the guards of the Forbidden Land. Such strength was not something that the people present could imagine. Go. Invite all the experts you can invite over. Even if we have to take turns to tire that Ling Xiao out, we have to tire him to death. The old man suddenly looked at the remaining guards of the Forbidden Land and shouted, "There's no need to guard this place. Ling Xiao will not make a move at this time." Yes, everyone nodded. Then, dozens of afterimages flew off in different directions. The Chen Nation was not big, but it was not small either. Chapter 2895. Song Lao knew that there were some people with a strong sense of justice in the Qin Nation. As long as they described Ling Xiao as a heinous person, they would be able to invite these experts to take action. There was also the Heavenly Pool Mountain. Li Xiaotian's death would definitely shake the Heavenly Pool Mountain. Although 2 days was a little tight, Song Lao believed that the Heavenly Pool Mountain would definitely send experts stronger than Li Xiaotian. Song Lao did not believe that Ling Xiao would not die. 2 days was neither long nor short. However, Ling Xiao also did a few big things. First, he spread the news of the arena, causing a commotion in the entire Qin Nation's martial arts world. Countless martial artists rushed to Thunder City during these 2 days. Second, he removed the Qin Nation's authority and sent out the armies of the demonic Dragon City and the 8 Immortals County. Since the Chen Nation did not have many experts left, the campaign was very easy. In just 1 day, most of the Qin Nation changed their tune and announced their allegiance to the 8 Immortals Nation. Of course, these people were all fence-sitters. If Ling Xiao wanted to completely subdue them, he had to defeat the Thunder Emperor in front of everyone. As for the other tasks, he did not need to worry about them. Chun Kangmeng would help him complete them. He had already appointed Chen Kangmeng as the king of the 8 Immortals Nation. He was in charge of managing the 8 Immortals Nation's territory and accepting the factions that surrendered. The last thing was to build a very large and sturdy arena outside Thunder City, waiting for the experts of the world to come. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye. Outside the Thunder City, a large number of cultivators had already gathered. There were more than 100,000 of them. Some of them were here to watch the show, while others were here to challenge Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao stood on the arena and coldly scanned the crowd. He could keenly sense that there were many experts in the crowd. There were even a few who made him feel extremely threatened. This was also because the other party was hiding part of their auras. However, the more it was like this, the more excited he was. Only such a powerhouse was qualified to challenge him and give him the motivation to advance. For people stood in the crowd. Two of them were the two heavenly Pool Mountain disciples who were with Li Xiaotian. Ling Xiao didn't kill them because there was no need to. Those two people had no enmity with him and posed no threat to him. As for the matter of going back to ask for reinforcements, it was even less of a concern. Even without them, there would still be people who would report back to the heavenly Pool Mountain. After all, when Ling Xiao killed Li Xiaotian, it was broadcasted live across the country through special magical equipment. Other than these two, there were two other people. One of them was very unfamiliar, but his appearance was somewhat similar to Li Xiaotian. The other was Chun Songxiong. The current Chun Songxiong had already completely grasped the essence of the King's Sword. Coupled with the nurturing of the heavenly Pool Mountain, he had made a breakthrough in his cultivation. Although his current cultivation was similar to Li Xiaotian's, his strength was much stronger than Li Xiaotian's. Senior brother, let me take revenge for senior brother Xiaotian. Chun Songxiong no longer feared Ling Xiao like he did in the past. One had to know that he had fled to Heavenly Pool Mountain because he was afraid of Ling Xiao. Now he believed that his strength had far surpassed Ling Xiao's, so he came back to take revenge. Whether it was Li Xiaoqian's revenge or the Chun country's royal family's revenge, he would take it all. And with your strength, it should be easy to kill him. However, don't underestimate your opponent, understand? The strongest expert of the Heavenly Pool Mountain said indifferently, Understood. Chun Songxiong had to be respectful in front of this person. He cupped his hands and jumped into the arena. Senior brother Xiaofeng, that Ling Xiao is not easy to deal with. To be able to kill senior brother Xiaotian, he must be very strong. You can't just look at his cultivation. The two remaining disciples of the Heavenly Pool Mountain said anxiously, Li Xiaofeng was Li Xiaoyin's brother. They were related by blood. Li Xiaotian had been killed, so Li Xiaofeng naturally had to come. He was an inner disciple of the Heavenly Pool Mountain, and his cultivation had reached the peak of the 13th level of hell. Even if Ling Xiao could challenge those of a higher level, it was not worth mentioning in front of him. You must have been scared silly by Ling Xiao. He is a genius, and he can challenge those of a higher level. So can Chun Songxiong. Although Xiaotian is my younger brother, I have to admit that Chun Songxiong is a true genius. He can defeat a warrior of the middle level of the 13th level of hell with his cultivation at the early level of the 13th level of hell. In front of him, Ling Xiao can only be considered a small fry. Li Xiaofeng said disdainfully. There was another group of people in the crowd, led by the Lightning Emperor and Elder Tsang. Seeing Chun Songxiong jump into the arena, the two of them looked at each other with worry. Your Majesty, I'm afraid that little 14th is not that guy's match. Elder Tsang said, You are wrong. Little 14th's aura is comparable to mine. He must have improved greatly in the Heavenly Pool Mountain. Although he is still a little weaker than me, his strength is enough to kill Ling Xiao. Let him kill Ling Xiao so that he can inherit my position. With Ling Xiao's matter, I will have to work harder in my cultivation. I will leave the trivial matters of the imperial court to 14th. The Lightning Emperor's aura was much stronger than before. It was obvious that his strength had improved greatly after his seclusion. There were many familiar figures in the crowd that Ling Xiao was familiar with. For example, Chen Bai, Yi Qin Formless, Lin Ruoxian, and the others. They were all here to cheer for Ling Xiao. There was also a graceful figure who was far away from the crowd. She sat alone on a tree and wore a bamboo hat that covered her face. Even so, it could not hide her peerless fanghua. Ling Xiao, I am back. Fortunately, I made it in time. The voice under the bamboo hat belonged to the reincarnation of the Moon Lady, Yu Fenghua. However, Ling Xiao did not pay attention to the people in the distance. This was because Chen Songxiong, who had jumped into the arena, emitted a powerful aura that made him excited. In terms of martial skills, Chen Songxiong was probably not weaker than Ling Xiao. In terms of cultivation, Chen Songxiong was even higher than him. The strength of the two was very close. Chen Songxiong's current cultivation was the same as Li Xiaotian's, at the early stage of the 13th level of the Yin-Yang realm. However, the aura he emitted was clearly much stronger than Li Xiaotian's. What a good opponent! Ling Xiao smiled. He hoped to meet such an opponent, because only then could his cultivation improve faster. At this moment, everyone was watching. Countless people stared fixedly at the two young experts on the stage. Both of their auras were rapidly rising. Around their bodies, there was a visible energy that was constantly expanding. However, it was still revolving around their bodies. However, Ling Xiao's aura seemed to be slightly weaker than Chen Songxiong's. No one knew if it was on purpose or if he really was inferior. In short, in the eyes of the spectators, Ling Xiao was inferior to Chen Songxiong. After all, the auras they were emitting told them so. Chapter 2896. You're merely at the peak of the 12th layer of hell. Yet you dare to call yourself invincible in the Chen nation and set up an arena here. You saved me the time of searching for you. If you had continued to run like a mouse, you might have been able to keep your life. But today you will die without a doubt. Chen Songxiong sneered and released a brand new sword martial soul behind him. The blade of the sword was wrapped in purple lightning, making it look very mighty. Chen Songxiong had obtained this martial soul after coming to the heavenly pool mountain. It was called the Lightning Sword Martial Soul. It could perfectly merge the Sword Martial Soul and the Lightning Martial Soul. It was very suitable for Chen Songxiong. The release of the martial soul caused Chen Songxiong's aura to surge. A terrifying wave swept across the entire arena. Even the rocks and dirt outside the arena floated up, as if there was a terrifying suction force pulling them up. This was only the energy that leaked out. Ling Xiao, who bore the brunt of it, felt like a violent storm was about to hit him. He didn't say anything. A blood-red sword martial soul appeared behind him. It was the one he had snatched from Chen Songxiong. At the same time, he entered the Black Eagle Beast Soul transformation state. At the beginning of the battle, one naturally had to know oneself and the enemy. The Black Eagle Beast Soul had the special skill, Eagle Eye, which could be used for a long time. Ling Xiao planned to use Eagle Eye and Tai Chi Eye to see everything about Chen Songxiong. After that, he would think of a way to defeat him. However, don't think that the Black Eagle Beast Soul transformation wasn't strong. It was the opposite. The Black Eagle Beast Soul transformation was currently the third strongest among Ling Xiao's Beast Soul transformations. The first was the Butterfly Martial Soul transformation. Ling Xiao basically didn't use it. He would only use it when he was forced into a dead end. The second was the Purple Lightning Ox Beast Soul transformation. Because of the complete Ox God Beast Soul transformation, it was even stronger. The third was the Black Eagle Beast Soul transformation. Although the Yu God Beast Soul transformation wasn't complete, it could still increase his battle strength by a lot. After the transformation, Ling Xiao's body was covered in a layer of black armor. A pair of domineering black eagle wings spread out behind him. The sharp eagle eye had already locked onto Chen Songxiong. His terrifying aura also skyrocketed, intercepting Chen Songxiong's chi wave. The two waves collided with each other on the arena and then exploded. A terrifying storm instantly swept through the surroundings. Many martial artists were unable to open their eyes because of this. Your aura is not bad, but it's a pity that you're still weaker than me. Moreover, you don't seem to understand that the difference between a major realm is not a minor realm. The difference between the two realms is like the difference between heaven and earth. You're no match for me. Chen Sangxiong's face remained impassive despite sensing Ling Xiao's soaring aura. Because he had fought Ling Xiao before, he knew that Ling Xiao was capable in this aspect. Therefore, there was no need to be surprised at such a thing. He was calm because he still had absolute confidence that he could kill Ling Xiao. You talk too much. I've already killed one Yin-Yang realm martial artist at the 13th level of hell. It doesn't matter if I kill one more. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Only he knew why his aura was weaker than Qin Sangxiong's. That was because he had not used his full strength. You mean Li Xiao, Tian? I'm 10 times stronger than him, Qin Sangxiong said coldly. Hearing this, everyone was shocked. Li Xiao Tian was already terrifying enough, but Qin Sangxiong was 10 times stronger than Li Xiao Tian. Could Ling Xiao really defeat Qin Sangxiong? Ling Xiao is an unorthodox martial artist, after all. Although he has the martial arts of the dragon cult, the dragon cult cannot be compared to the Tianqi Mountain. They are not on the same level. It seems that Qin Sangxiong will succeed in his revenge this time. There's no need for us to do anything. Below the arena, there were many martial artists who came to challenge Ling Xiao. They gave up after seeing Qin Sangxiong jump into the arena. Qin Sangxiong was clearly much stronger than them. If even Qin Sangxiong was not Ling Xiao's match, then there was no point in them going up. On the other hand, if Qin Sangxiong killed Ling Xiao, there was no need for them to do anything. Are you 10 times stronger than him? Let's try first. As soon as he finished speaking, Ling Xiao suddenly launched an attack. The Blood Thunder Imperial Sword in his hand burst out a bright blood-red sword chi. Within the sword chi, there was a blood-red lightning. In the void, the eagle eye was still open. Of course, this sword was not to kill Qin Sangxiong, but to test his strength. Facing Ling Xiao's sword chi, Qin Sangxiong smiled coldly. His feet moved and his figure suddenly flashed. A king's sword that was even stronger than the Blood Thunder Imperial Sword appeared. Then, a terrifying sword chi burst out from the king's sword. The king's sword chi is above any sword chi. Ling Xiao, you're going to lose. Boom! The two bursts of sword chi exploded in the void, and the sword chi of blood and lightning was shattered in an instant. The king's sword chi did not stop and continued to attack Ling Xiao at an extremely fast speed. Ling Xiao waved the Blood Thunder Imperial Sword to block. However, a crack sound was heard. The Blood Thunder Imperial Sword was shattered. At this moment, the king's sword chi had not disappeared. It blasted Ling Xiao's body again and forced Ling Xiao back 3 to 4 steps. Beautiful! The old man could not help but shout. Many people who supported the Chun Kingdom's royal family were also shouting. Qin Sangxiong stood there and looked at Ling Xiao coldly. He revealed a mocking smile. Too weak, too weak. You dare to call yourself invincible? Ling Xiao stared at the shattered Blood Thunder Imperial Sword and sighed helplessly. He put away all the fragments and took out the Demon Dragon Sword. Sure enough, Qin Sangxiong was not easy to deal with. He could not underestimate him. The shattering of the Blood Thunder Imperial Sword was a good warning. Weak? I might give you an even bigger surprise. Ling Xiao smiled. Demon Dragon Possession, activate. As the 5 demon dragons entered Ling Xiao's body, Ling Xiao's aura skyrocketed again. Although it was still not comparable to Qin Sangxiong's, it was very close. It's actually the 3rd stage of the Demon Dragon Possession, and you actually obtained the Demon Dragon Sword. Shocking things happened one after another, making Qin Sangxiong's mood a little bad. He originally thought that he could easily take revenge with the King's Sword and the nurturing of the Heavenly Pool Mountain. But now, it seemed that easy revenge might have become a fantasy. If he really wanted to defeat Ling Xiao, he would have to go through a bitter battle. Why are you so surprised? You should be proud. Previously, you fled to the heavenly pool mountain because you were afraid of my strength. But now, you can at least stand on this stage with me. You should be happy, from being afraid of me to being confident that you can defeat me." Ling Xiao looked at Chen Sangxiong mockingly. Chen Sangxiong's surprised expression was really funny. "You are right. I should be happy. Your arrogance exposed your trump card prematurely. Now you will definitely die." Chen Sangxiong rejoiced in his heart. If he had met Ling Xiao a little later, he would not know how to defeat this fellow. Chapter 2897. Perhaps. However, you might be the one to die. Ling Xiao still had a calm expression, as if Chen Sangxiong's strength did not exist. After speaking, Ling Xiao attacked again. This time, he did not use the Blood Thunder Imperial Sword, but the Demon Dragon Sword. Rumble! Kill! Chen Sangxiong roared and charged at Ling Xiao. Both of them were extremely fast. In an instant, the shockwaves produced by the explosive qi caused the entire arena to be in chaos. Some of the cultivators closer to the arena were blown away by the strong wind and were sent flying hundreds of meters away. Clang! A deafening sound exploded in the air. Two of the Qin nation's best weapons clashed. The battle between the King's Sword and the Demon Dragon Sword finally began. After the terrifying explosion, both of them were pushed back at the same time. From the looks of it, Ling Xiao was indeed slightly inferior. However, he was only pushed back a little further than Chen Sangxiong. Neither of them were injured. Furthermore, both of them attacked at almost the same time. Their figures instantly disappeared from their original spot and dashed out. The high-speed battle began. Aside from the constant collisions, most people could not see the two of them. What happened? Where are they? I don't know either. I can't keep up at all. The two of them are too fast. How fortunate. I originally wanted to go up and challenge them. However, from the looks of it, if I really went up, I would probably be sending myself to my death. The crowd discussed spiritedly. Although they could not see the battle, they could feel the strength of the two young geniuses. However, there were still people who could see the battle. For example, experts like Li Xiaofeng, Lei Di, Yu Fanghua, and Chen Bai. As I expected, although Ling Xiao is strong, he is not as strong as Chen Sangxiong. The victor will be decided within 100 moves. Li Xiaofeng snorted coldly. Senior brother is wise. The other two disciples from the Heavenly Pool Mountain said hurriedly. However, they did not agree with him. Li Xiaofeng said that Chen Sangxiong could finish off Ling Xiao in 1 move. Later, he changed it to 10 moves. Now, it was directly changed to 100 moves. Although they found it funny, they couldn't help but sigh with emotion. Ling Xiao's strength was truly shocking. King Sword Qi. Suddenly, the two figures finally appeared in the sky. Chen Sangxiong held the king's sword in his hand and was only 4 or 5 meters away from Ling Xiao. A terrifying aura was emitted from the body of the sword. Then this aura was suddenly spat out. Demonic Dragon Phantom. Facing such a close attack, Ling Xiao did not panic. He immediately used the Demonic Dragon's Phantom Body technique to avoid the sure kill attack. The king's sword Qi brushed past Ling Xiao and struck a mountain in the distance. A moment later, a huge rumbling sound was heard. The mountain that was hundreds of meters tall was actually razed to the ground. What a terrifying power! If it really hits the opponent, I'm afraid he'll be blasted to smithereens. The crowd sucked in a breath of cold air when they saw the horrifying scene. Take my attack too. True Devil Sword Qi. It would be impolite not to reciprocate. After Ling Xiao dodged Chen Sangxiong's attack, the demonic dragon sword in his hand produced a terrifying sword Qi and blasted it towards Chen Sangxiong. This feeling was as terrifying as the king's sword Qi from before. Looks like you've really earned Chen Bai's trust. You even obtained the demonic dragon's Phantom Body technique. Chen Sangxiong's brows tightly knitted together. Originally, he thought that Ling Xiao being able to grasp the demonic dragon's possession in such a short time was already very impressive. However, he didn't expect that not only did Ling Xiao grasp the demonic dragon's possession, but he was also so proficient in the demonic dragon's phantom body technique. This made Chen Sangxiong feel a huge blow. In fact, the dragon cult had the 4 supreme martial arts. The Chen Kingdom's royal family also had 4 secret manuals that were not inferior to the 4 supreme martial arts. Moreover, Chen Sangxiong was fully qualified to learn them. He spent a total of 7 years before he managed to cultivate 3 sets of martial arts. Among them was the king's rampage body technique that corresponded to the demonic dragon's phantom body technique, and the king's glory that corresponded to the demonic dragon's possession. There was also an offensive martial art called the king's sword technique. This offensive martial art was only successfully cultivated after going to the heavenly pool mountain. However, Ling Xiao only used 2 months to complete what he had spent 7 years to do. He really couldn't accept this. Didn't this mean that not only did Ling Xiao's cultivation talent surpass his, but it also far surpassed his? In front of Ling Xiao, his talent wasn't even worth mentioning. One had to know that Chen Sangxiong had always been proud of his potential and talent. He felt that no matter who it was, as long as he had enough time, he would be able to surpass them. However, after meeting Ling Xiao, everything changed. He couldn't tolerate Ling Xiao's existence. He had to eliminate him. Chen Sangxiong, if you can't defeat Ling Xiao within 100 moves, then it's my turn. Seeing Ling Xiao use the demonic dragon's phantom body technique, Li Xiaofeng finally couldn't hold it in anymore. He knew very well that with such a body technique, it was almost impossible for Chen Sangxiong to defeat Ling Xiao in a short period of time. He had to give Chen Sangxiong some pressure. Actually, it wasn't just Li Xiaofeng who was shocked. Everyone who was watching this battle was shocked. Ling Xiao's strength was clearly inferior to Chen Sangxiong's, and he was also weaker than Chen Sangxiong in terms of physical strength. However, there was no sign of him losing. Your Majesty, I am worried that little 14 won't be able to defeat Ling Xiao. Elder Tsang couldn't help but say to the Lightning Emperor beside him as he watched the battle, "This kid has indeed surprised me. However, you don't have to worry. If I find that the situation isn't right, I will immediately take action. For now, let 14 wear down Ling Xiao." The Lightning Emperor's attitude also became cautious. From the beginning of the battle, he firmly believed that Chen Sangxiong could easily defeat Ling Xiao. Now he had become cautious because of the powerful strength that Ling Xiao gradually displayed. Ha ha ha, now even I am no match for my disciple. Chen Bai couldn't help but sigh with emotion when he saw Ling Xiao's performance. Xiao Muyu also smiled and said, "That's right." Facing Chen Sangxiong, the former #1 expert of the younger generation, he didn't fall into a disadvantage at all. He is indeed powerful. Master, today is an arena. It's already so tiring to defeat Chen Sangxiong. What if someone else challenges him later? Mu Qing looked at Xiao Muyu with some worry and asked, "Don't worry. Let's continue watching. Since Ling Xiao dares to set up an arena here, he must have his own plans. What's more, aren't we all here? Could it be that we're just going to watch him suffer?" Chen Bai said with a smile. He always believed that this young warrior who had repeatedly created various miracles would definitely be able to set an even more shocking record today. There was a lot of discussion below the arena, and the battle on the arena was endless. You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.